Greetings, and welcome to House of R, a Ringerverse podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network. I am Mallory Rubin, and today I have called in the Justice Gang.
Oh, wow.
Van Lathan is here. Sean Fennessey is here. We have gathered, not in Metropolis, but here at the Ringer, to talk about Superman, James Gunn's Superman. Joanna is not here. We miss Joe. We love Joe.
We love Joe.
Joe will be back. We will be doing our Inception anniversary pod in a week or two. We will be back soon, but today we are here. Before we get to it, before we talk about Superman, the Midnight Boys have already revealed this, but the Ringerverse crew will be at Comic-Con.
This is monumental. I cannot wait.
I've never been to San Diego
What
Comic-Con.
is Comic-Con?
You're not invited. Everyone else is invited, but you're not allowed to come. You're not allowed to come.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
What are the panels going to be? What do you guys are hosting a panel?
There's
We're
a
doing panel.
Thursday panel. Thursday at San Diego Comic-Con, 6 p.m. Grand 10 and 11, the Marriott Marquis, San Diego Marina. And then, if you have a badge to Comic-Con and you come to that, amazing, great. We would love to have you fill the room, please. We don't want to be embarrassed.
Yes, please.
Whether or not you are attending the panel, if you attended the panel, you can also come to this next thing. If you're not going to Comic-Con and you're not going to the panel, you can come to this next thing. We're doing a meetup. We're hanging out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come to Gaslamp. Meet and greet.
Pretty risky, guys.
8:30 p.m.
Gotta say, pretty
at
risky.
Whiskey Girl. Whiskey Girl.
Whiskey Girl. Okay.
Whiskey
Yes.
Girl. I looked at it. I
Yeah.
looked it up online. It's like a poppin' place where things happen.
Whiskey Girl was
Oh.
also your AOL handle back in the day,
Still
was
is.
it not?
Yeah.
There
Okay.
you go.
Still is. Yeah.
That's great. That's exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
I have never been to Comic-Con. When I was a younger man, I desperately wanted to go.
Yeah.
And
Why didn't you? Why didn't you allow yourself to experience that?
They didn't want me to
joy?
be great. You know,
Yeah,
they didn't want me
it's
to.
tough.
And then I got old, and then I
Mhm.
got bitter and cynical, and then I got less excited about going.
What sort of con would be most to your liking now?
Scorsese Con.
Well, that doesn't exist,
PTA
but perhaps I
Con.
should start it. What about
Yeah.
SantaCon?
Oh,
I have a young child.
Juan Soto
Wouldn't we
con.
like to see 1,000
All
Santa
different
Clauses?
types of Santas
Yeah.
Interesting.
that are going on. There are
Interesting.
A lot of different types
Nothing
of
about the
cons.
Mets. You know, they lost a doubleheader to my Orioles the other day, yesterday.
Thanks for inviting me on the day after that happened.
It worked out
really
great,
interesting
honestly.
timing, Mallory.
Worked out great for
no,
me.
No, I like to go to CinemaCon,
Yes.
which is an actual
yeah.
event that
Yeah,
happens
yeah,
in
in
April
Vegas,
every
yeah.
year in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
where they reveal all the movies, not just the movies in the worlds of fandom. So, you know,
Interesting energy from him so far.
That's so the day. Yeah, he's on his. He's shining it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was CinemaCon the thing that it was the day after when I embarrassed myself in front of Jerry Bruckheimer?
yes, it
Yeah.
was. We were texting while I was at CinemaCon.
CinemaCon featured prominently in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
That's my experience with CinemaCon.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful event. Frankly,
Seemed great.
I'd love for you guys to come next year.
I would love
I think
to.
it's
You think
really,
that's
really
a
fun.
formal invitation?
I'll go.
I don't run the event, but I would love to be there in Vegas with you. And I'm sure they would love to have you.
Sounds great.
Hosts of successful podcasts that cover movies.
There you go.
Consider us in. You're still not allowed to come to Comic-Con with us, though.
Did you buy Comic-Con and now determine who can and can't go? What if I just showed
Lex
up?
Luthor
That would be
bought it.
so dope.
What if I just asked a question during the panel?
Mm,
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Like the way that in Mallrats, you guys seen Mallrats? No, not Mallrats. Chasing Amy.
mhm.
How
when-
dare you?
Sorry. So in Chasing Amy, when the black comic book writer is presenting his like Malcolm X style comic book,
Oh,
and Jason Lee stands up and starts asking questions about his perspective on race.
Uh-huh.
What if I did that to the Midnight Boys?
Would love it. The crowd would go crazy too. Eric Voss might do it. Why don't you beat him to the punch
Eric Voss of New Rock Stars.
of
That's
New
right.
Rock Stars
Yeah.
fame?
Okay, so you're saying that's my competition.
Yeah.
how
You're
would
gonna-
you compare your in a press conference asking a hard-hitting journalistic approach to everything that we saw from the Daily Planet crew in this movie?
I'm going to be more like that guy who asked Caitlin Clark that really rude and inappropriate question and then got fired from whatever Indianapolis
Out of
newspaper.
there. Done.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I'm against her. Now I would say this.
I've heard this.
Yeah,
We know.
Yeah. I'll say this though. We have to, before we even get into the guts of the
Mhm.
film here.
Yeah.
Actual journalism happening in the
Mhm.
Daily Planet
I
again
know.
is something that's very
huge.
awesome to see.
Straight up
huge.
in the CMS. We
I
were
have
in
to-
the CMS
I
in
gotta
this
say,
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Efficient CMS backend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I do have some notes on the editing process. Perry takes what appeared to be a 0.3 second look, says it's perfect publish.
We call that the Fennessey edit. That's something I've been known to do from time to time.
No, it was real I am to the desk to me. That was what
You got to explain that.
That's Chris Ryan writing a blog, sending it to the copy desk, not through an editor, and then putting in the entire production Slack, I am to the desk. Now
No
everybody
notes.
knows.
Would not accept notes.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
It's the best. But you know what? When you have penned blogs,
Unvetted work.
such
Right.
as The Sea is Dope, which of course was a Grantland blog, not a Ringer blog, but lives in lore.
Yeah.
Then you get to do that. Okay, we are here to talk about Superman. Here's the spoiler warning before we get into it. There's not like a pre-spoiler chat. Spoilers the entire time. Anything that happened in the new film Superman is on the table today. If it has ever happened in a prior Superman movie or television show or comic book, it could come up today. Now, I don't know how deep we're going to get into the other films. I think they'll come up occasionally as like references or touchstones, but we're not going to dive too deep into those prior movies because he's what you guys are doing.
On Monday on The Big Picture,
Mhm.
Van and Rob Mahoney are joining me to rank all of the Superman movies in the afterglow of James Gunn's Superman, which will be fun. So we have
Can't
been
wait to listen.
rewatching, so we are ready to talk about
Yes.
the history of this character on film.
They're so top
wait.
of mind right now to me, but I cannot wait to see where Mahoney stands on these films.
He's going to
Me
have some hot
too.
takes, you know it.
Yeah.
He's going to come in and say, Quest for Peace #1.
Batman v Superman. We're not doing that one.
It's all on the table. I think
Every movie
it's
Superman-
8 movies, including 2 different versions of Superman 2 and 2 different versions of Justice League.
Oh, then 2 different versions of Batman versus Superman, then. The regular one and the Ultimate Cut.
You know, I've never seen the Ultimate Cut.
The
Watched it
Ultimate
last
Cut,
weekend.
you
3
should-
hours.
3 hours?
So, Sean, you
I
gotta
have my
watch it.
child's birthday party this
know,
weekend. There is a
but-
0% chance I'll be watching
But I'm
that.
telling you,
Watched
though,
it last weekend. Watched them
it's-
all last
it's
weekend.
actually, as the theatrical release makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. They took too much out of the story, right?
Okay.
But the Ultimate Cut does.
Is the Martha thing still in it?
It is.
Okay, well,
It
then
remains-
I'm not going to like it.
It remains the crucial pivot point of the
Okay,
story.
then it's not
Yes,
gonna work for
regardless
me.
of the cut. Yes.
Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Can I watch it at 3x speed? Will I get the vibe?
Probably.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't recommend it. Do you ever watch movies at an accelerated
course
pace? That
not.
would be sacrilege to you. Come
But
on.
I would for Zack Snyder.
Jeez.
Sorry, Zack. I don't,
Sheesh.
not my guy.
Okay.
Although Dawn of the Dead, written by
Mhm.
James Gunn, I will ride for.
Dawn of the Dead. He's got a couple of
300 is
base
cool.
knocks.
300 is cool.
300,
Yeah,
Dawn of the Dead.
enjoy that
What about
movie.
Army of the Dead?
I thought it was okay.
Okay, there you
Haven't seen that one.
I would have liked to have seen it in a movie theater.
go. What, Sucker Punch?
It's a,
Mhm.
it's a no from me, dog.
Oh.
As Randy Jackson used to say.
Right.
So you guys are going to be ranking both Superman 2 and the Donner Cut individually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they are different
Hell
movies.
yeah.
Very different.
Love the Donner Cut.
Love the Donner Cut.
No spoilers here.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So-
I got a sneak peek of Van's power ranking last night at the movie theater, but I won't reveal it.
Wow. So you guys saw
won't
this a
reveal it.
second time.
We did. I happened to walk over in a very authentic moment to where Van and my husband Adam were talking about the director cuts,
Yeah.
inspired by the Donner Cut. But then it just became, I walked over when you guys were talking about the Kingdom of Heaven Steel Book director's cut that Adam had just procured and he's very
Yeah.
excited about.
I'm happy for him. That costs roughly $500, so I hope that's okay for
Is
your
that
bank
true?
account. No, it's not. It's,
So-
it's hard to find right now.
He seemed very excited about it.
Adam had a very successful call out on me.
Okay.
I was saying it's a general rule of mine that I normally don't like director's cuts that much.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I basically said that the Donner cut is one of the only ones that I really like. And then he just started popping off
Yeah.
ones that are good.
Yeah.
Like
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. We talked
Yeah.
about that.
Apocalypse Now.
We talked about, and then he brings up Kingdom of Heaven, which is the all-time, this director's cut
Yeah.
is so much better than the theatrical release of the movie.
Yep.
That they should have just left the fucking guy alone.
Yeah, but it was 3.5 hours.
I get it. I know they were afraid of it,
Yeah.
but he would set out to make this epic, and it was this big type of, you couldn't make it smaller. It had to be big.
They would have let Cecil B. DeMille do it. So
Right.
why wouldn't they let Ridley Scott?
3.5 hours is the length of a normal podcast, as far as I'm concerned, and so I don't see the problem.
That's right. You'd be right at home with 7-hour films in the
I don't see
theaters.
the problem. All right, before we get into our discussion of the movie, the plot of the film, the approach, James Gunn as a filmmaker, the characters, the performers, all of it, let's just do a little opening snapshot table setting to give everybody like the amuse-bouche little taste of how everybody felt about this and what you brought in to the film. So this is not a long movie. This is a 2 hour and 9 minute pretty tight movie that includes the credits, the mid-credits, the post-credits. This movie cost $225 million to make. Box office tracking, we should say we're banking this pot. We're recording this on a Friday, so we don't know yet how much money this movie made on opening weekend. If you check out the reports, it's like projecting tracking anywhere from 100 to 150 domestically, but the word of mouth is good. The reviews are good. It seems like we're trending toward the higher end of that.
On the big picture, which we recorded Wednesday morning, I predicted 150.
Yeah.
Because
domestic. Shit.
Because I feel strongly about the movie.
Yeah.
And I think I have not met a person yet
who doesn't like
who
it.
hates it.
Yeah.
And so I think that word of mouth will be really strong. And also, as you guys know, movies are going crazy right now.
Movies are back.
Yeah, they're back.
Movies are back. Rotten Tomatoes, deeply flawed, imperfect metric. At the time of the recording, we're sitting at like an 82 for the tomato meter for the critics, 95 audience score. Like,
good
people
sign.
are having a blast at the movie. Okay. Orient the bad babies. Orient the house of our viewers and listeners. What is your history with Superman movies?
You go first.
Superman is a character.
Yeah.
James Gunn is a filmmaker. What was your, before you like say how you felt about the movie, what was your hype level and relationship to the property and the component parts like coming into the film?
So my hype level was terrified.
Yeah.
Terrified that the movie would fail. Superman is a formative character for me. Superman and Luke Skywalker, those are the characters that expanded my world. And those are things that sort of shaped my childhood. And it was the way that I kind of understood comic book storytelling.
Yeah.
Villain, hero, people in between, how do you manage it? So every iteration of Superman that has ever existed, I've invested. If he's been animated, if he's been in a movie, if he's been in a television show, if he's been in a comic book, always.
Right.
And I was afraid, I talked about this like a little embarrassingly on the Midnight Boys, but I talked about this. I was afraid that Superman was gone forever.
Yeah.
Because
this was not embarrassing. This was extremely, extremely moving and sweet.
Oh, thank you. But I was afraid that Superman was gone because it is a tricky character in a complex time, and no one seemed to be able to do it. Singer was way too traditional to the point to where he was on screen fawning over Donner's Superman to the point that he didn't tell his own story, and then Snyder was so aggressive with the character that he lost what makes Superman Superman. It's like, could anybody do this anymore? And I had seen some things on television that I liked. I like Superman and Lois. I like My Adventures of Superman. So I'm like, he still has a place. But Gunn's trailers and the first stuff, they did not sell me that this movie was going to be a successful telling of the story. So that's where I was, terrified.
Yeah.
And legitimately 10, 15 minutes in, I was like, I think we got something. As far as James Gunn, I love James Gunn.
Yeah.
He is the type of filmmaker to me sometimes that I go, there's a lot happening.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of stuff. But that's just him. He's earnest. He's heartfelt. He's almost kind of akin to a throwback guy that didn't factor in the cynicism of the audience, just made an earnest, heartfelt movie. And here it is. It's the Monster Squad. Either you believe that these kids are plucky and they're going to beat these monsters, or you don't. We can't make it. We're not going to tramp down the cuteness. We're not going to tamp down any of that. We're going for it. And that's what made him the right guy to direct this movie.
Right. What about you? Gunn, Superman movies, Superman the character. What did you bring into the
quickly, Superman the character, he's only exists to me for the most part as a movies and television character. And in the 1990s, the first two Superman movies, and three a little bit, in part because of their presence on HBO, were just huge for me. I watched them over and over again as an adolescent. And I also watched Lois and Clark on ABC. And I love that TV show. And that was probably the first romantic adult TV show I really got interested in, because it used Superman as kind of like the entry point to that kind of a story. Also, Terry Hatcher, dear God.
She was number one.
An unbelievable human.
Yeah.
A meta-human to me. And so I like Superman the character, but I never read the comic books with the exception of the Death of Superman moment, which was huge in comic books at the time. And if you didn't read it, it was strange. and didn't watch Smallville. I didn't watch the recent series that you're talking about, the Superman and Lois show. I despise Man of Steel. I am mixed negative on Batman v Superman. And while I think the Snyder Cut is interesting, I don't think it's successful.
Right.
So
you're lower on Man of Steel than Batman versus
I think
Superman?
It is a complete misunderstanding and rejection of the character. Like a complete zero for me. It is one of the worst movie going experiences I have had this century.
Singer Superman.
I think what you said is exactly right.
That's a tough movie.
I think it's exactly right, which is that it is trying so hard to just be a continuation of something that happened 35 years or 25 years in the past, that it has no soul, it has no spirit.
And it's just actively confusing in terms of like the continuity.
Yeah.
Very odd.
So I just didn't really, I don't really care about Superman that much anymore. You know, he just hasn't really been a part of my life for a long time in movies and television. And this movie becoming this critical decision point in all superhero storytelling is really interesting to me as someone who has had a real, you know, the pendulum has swung way back in the direction of struggling with almost anything like this.
Right.
With the exception of Thunderbolts, it's been years since I've actually liked one of these movies. And so
revisionist history, you famously liked Quantumania. Infamously,
I thought it was
like
not
Quantumania.
bad. I'm on the not bad corner.
I still don't get the overwhelming hate for the movie. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but
I think the camel's back broke when that movie came out, and then there was like an overreaction
Good
to
stuff
it.
in the movie.
I think there is. Anyway, we can come back to that because actually there's a segment of this movie that reminds me a little bit of Quantumania.
I know which one you're talking about. Sure. Yeah.
Anyhow, quickly, I just think it's an interesting referendum as a close movie watcher. It was very extremely relevant to this summer, to the future of Warner Brothers, which I'm really interested in. I'll just say right now, Warner Brothers is now like 6 for 6 and is on like one of the great winning streaks in recent movie studio history.
I wanted to explore this with you. I know we don't have a ton of time. How did this happen? How did they fucking get the fucking train back on the tracks with original stuff, with IP stuff, with stuff that appeals to people that like what happened?
I mean, Mike DeLuca is one of the best studio chiefs of the last 40 years. And he's also one of the only studio chiefs who started out as a creative. He was a screenwriter who worked on horror movies. He actually understands and likes artists and lets them do a lot of the things that they want to do. That's a whole other pod that we could talk about.
Okay,
but,
for sure.
You know, part of what is so special, I think, about this Superman, I'm like, this is James Gunn's Superman. This is his vision of the character that feels very uncompromised. And Gunn is a director that I like and have always liked. When I was a teenager, I also discovered Troma. You know, he wrote a Troma movie very famously, and that was where he got his roots going. I think he is also really the only good filmmaker who has entirely devoted himself to superhero storytelling. There's not a lot of most filmmakers, they'll like make a superhero movie to get their small indie made or their drama with a movie star.
No, he's like, this is my life.
This is what I do.
This is what I do,
This is the only thing I do. And since Super, it's the only thing he has done.
Yeah.
I appreciate that because this genre needs good filmmakers.
Yeah, I think that connects to Van's point about the earnestness is obviously in terms of the text of each story, but also just more broadly the relationship to this type of genre storytelling, like period. And that was part of why I was so excited for the movie. Like, I think, you know, I'm very excited to listen to the Superman ranking episode. I genuinely can't wait. I've recently revisited them all. And, you know, my relationship to Superman films is that some of them are really amazing and iconic, and some of them are terrible.
Yeah.
Like the variance is extreme. I love James Gunn's movies. Like, I love the Guardians franchise. I really liked his Suicide Squad movie. And so in terms of like the pairing of Gunn and Superman, but also what this moment carried on its cape for like the dawn of the Gunn Safran DCU, given where we've been with Marvel, given where we've been with DC, it's such a massive moment. And so, like, you know, I took it #1 overall in the hype draft that we did for the year. Like, I've been really looking forward to it. And I had a sort of odd experience where conceptually, intellectually, emotionally, I'm like, this is going to be the moment in our universe for the year. I can't wait. It's going to be good. I will not stop doubting that it's good until I am finished watching it and have a reason to doubt it. And then as each trailer came out, I felt a little more nervous than I had before. Some of it was, I think, just like the centering in the trailers of the, like, this was filmed to be watched in 3D, like twirly whirly popping in the center of your teeth. I was like, I'm a little worried about why the green baby is swinging into the middle of the trailer like that.
The teeth hitting the lens, that
the
sort of
teeth
stuff.
hitting the lens.
Made people go nuts. Ended up not even being a thing.
Yep.
I know. It's
But
like
endless litigation on whether or not the teeth were hitting one of Lex's probe drones and like, how could that happen?
Yeah.
But just,
it's like this in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And that was what was ultimately such a relief, is like the trailers, as is so often the case, are just a collection of the first 7 minutes of the movie and then a couple like set piece action sequences. I thought the movie rocked. I loved it. I've seen it twice now. I already can't wait to see it again. I had a great time. And that conversation that we've all had for months, beyond months actually at this point, about like, how would the Gunn style and sensibility pair with Superman as a character, as a symbol, as an ideal? I thought that those, not only did it work, I thought it was kind of magical. Like, I thought that they unlocked and amplified something about each other. I'm excited to talk about the Gunn of it all with you guys more, and the characters and the performances. But like, broadly, what did you think about the movie? For anyone who hasn't listened to, you've done a Big Pick episode already. You've done a Midnight Boys episode already. Obviously, everyone should check them out. But if they haven't listened yet, what did you think of the film?
Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
We talked about it before. There was an oh shit moment in Man of Steel when I realized that the movie didn't have it. I didn't hate Man of Steel as much as Sean did, but Man of Steel did not do Superman any justice at all. It was a moment where I was like, fuck, there's some feeling that you're supposed to get from a Superman movie, and this movie is either not trying to give you that feeling or it's incapable of doing it. The most pivotal scene in the film to me is the 10-minute scene between Superman and Lois where they're talking. And you go, he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't quite get it yet. He's not, he understands his strength, but he doesn't know who he is yet. That's intriguing.
Yeah.
It's intriguing to take a character with that much power, with that backstory, and put him in a situation where he's questioning himself, and there is so much happening in his world. And the person that is the flashpoint, the tip of the spear that's saying, hey, I don't know if you've thought about this, is the person that's closest to him at this point.
Right.
Those are real human stakes for a superhuman character. And if you treat the character like that, you'll get a good movie because he can do such amazing things, right? Nobody else had tried. Everybody else had made it about how fast he can fly or about the people that worship him. Never about the people that question him other than Luthor, right? So I just felt like it was a recentering of Superman. It was cute. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was endearing. The movie is a testament to how deep his comic knowledge is.
Oh, yeah.
Because he uses characters like Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific to be really central parts of the plot. And nobody knows who those guys are, right?
It's like Guardians all over again.
It's the same
thing.
Nobody knows who those guys are. So I just thought it was a home run.
I think like we talk a lot about James Gunn's quippiness and the humor and the needle drops, and like obviously the punk rock text is very centered in this, and I thought it was great. That specifically to me is James Gunn's superpower. And I know like you guys got into this on Big Pick and on Midnight Boys. Like I get the sense actually that that's a mileage may vary for people with this movie. Is like, did you love all of the characters, or did you feel like it was too crowded, too stuffed? That was one of the things I was most worried about, from the marketing and like the run up to the movie. This is a fuckload of characters, not only to incorporate into a coherent story, but to feel compelled to introduce because you're launching a new cinematic universe. I thought the calibration was really expert. This is obviously what he does, to your point, beautifully in Guardians, but I think also like one of the great masterstrokes to this day to me of the MCU is not just bottling that in Guardians, but then putting the Guardians with Thor in Infinity War and having it working, like create something that can actually exist and port over to the larger tapestry that has to function. So
I can't confirm this though, but you know, it's widely understood that most of those sequences in Infinity War are written by James Gunn.
Sure.
Because James Gunn is the person who understands those characters.
But this is his DCU.
Yeah.
So like he has the ability to like let other people put their fingerprints on their movies and their characters and then make sure it fits together. So I left this with like such confidence and in the thing that awaits and excitement for the thing that awaits. What did you think about the movie, and where are you, Mr. Movie, on Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, the next few years of the dawn of the DCU?
I think the movie's great. I think it's legitimately a great Superman movie, which is rare, as we know.
Yes.
And that's exciting. I did feel that feeling that you're describing, that kind of ephemeral, the hairs are standing up on my arms when you hear the John Williams sort of like alternated
the
score.
electric guitar
and you feel,
update
all that stuff is
but just
wonderful.
real quick,
Incredible.
that's his fucking music. Don't change the music. That's his music.
Yeah.
When Superman, and that's another thing, that's his fucking music, man. Hans Zimmer's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
One of the greats. That's the music.
Yeah.
Tweak the music, put Lil Baby on it if you have to, but don't fucking...
That would be interesting.
Like, yeah, but that's the music.
It just feels right.
Yeah.
It ports you.
The thing that is so interesting, and I don't know if successful is the right word, but so rich to me, that what makes this a real New York strip steak of a movie, this is not a salad of a movie, this is a big meal of a movie, is that it is going crazy with themes.
Yeah.
There are so many ideas about decency towards one another, conflict around the world, the way that journalism and tech and power operate, the way that the United States government operates. I mean, there is some very heady stuff in this candy-colored PG-13
parentage
summer blockbuster.
Right.
Yes,
Absolutely. Found family.
Obviously, all of the ideas of immigration that Gunn has been talking about publicly, which is like legitimately in the movie, not in the movie in a fake way, in a significantly close to what our reality looks like. Now, my biggest quibbles are also kind of with not what the movie is, but how it is. You know, how it is about those things is the thing that I'm still sort of sorting
I'll kill
through.
you, Sean.
What do you mean?
Speak kindly on my Superman movie. I'm guarding it close. I'm just joking. I'm
because
this
you
is
think,
like, if I had to put a number on it, this is like an 8, maybe even a 9 out of 10.
Oh,
Like I
wow.
really like this
but
movie.
what is it out of 12?
Oh yeah. But no,
I wasn't invited to the midnight meter, so
there are things,
there are some quibbles.
Yeah, of course.
That and your mileage may vary. I thought the same thing going into the movie. I didn't like the trailers. At the aforementioned CinemaCon, they presented roughly like 4 or 5 minutes of the movie.
Interesting.
And what
Which
they
4 or
showed
5
us
minutes?
specifically was, and this is relevant, Superman at the very beginning of the film crash landing in Antarctica, and then being dragged to the Fortress of Solitude and sort of like rebuilt by the sun by the robots.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Like when people went nuts,
and it to me it did not work. And here's why it didn't work: you did not get the title card. You did not get that critical thing that Gunn does, which is a really smart act of writing, which is 3 minutes ago, Superman lost a battle.
Yeah.
And as soon as that hit, I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited about where we're going to go from here. But that being extricated from this clip that they showed us, I was like, I don't know about this tone.
Yeah.
This kind of looks weird. Corenswet is down, so we don't get to see him be charming in that moment of the movie. It was a weird thing to show us. So I was very nervous in the same way that you were, in the same way that you were. And so to be nervous and to go into a movie with low expectations, I felt elevated by the movie.
So we're not going to get growing up in Kansas. Oh my God, I can run fast.
We didn't do the origin story, but we incorporated all of those elements.
But
smart.
There's a trick.
Yeah.
Shout out to George Lucas and the old sci-fi things of the past. Hey guys, you're in the middle of this shit here.
Yeah.
Let us tell you real quick through some great all is lost. Oh my God.
Yes.
And then, like, you know what I mean? And then the whole thing, Luke Skywalker has disappeared. You're like, shit, where is he? And the movie's about to tell you. Like, that part of it, I don't know if we got to talk about that on Midnight Boys as much. But
I said literally what you just said on Big Picture, where I was like, this is Star Wars. This is what Star Wars does. The first Star Wars, they're like, here's all this info. You're kind of nervous that you have to know all this lore. And then they're like, here's Darth Vader.
Right.
You're on a ship.
You're good. Yeah.
We're going.
And then this is so weird. This is going to sound so crazy, but it's also well written. 300 years. 3 just like, I'm like, oh,
smart.
This is,
it's a very clever way to like signal that you are in a new cinematic universe, and like there is going to be a shitload of mythology and lore, and it's going to in many cases connect to the comics canon or the prior film canon, and in other ways feel really new. And I thought it had that Gunn shorthand of like, I am making an unapologetically comic book movie.
Right.
That I tore open a Skittles bag and I didn't just throw it at your screen. I melted it over your screen, right? And like when that's working, it's the best. But I'm gonna like allow you to latch onto it and not get lost. And the repetition of the 3 was so smart. And then like, yeah, you know the thing you need to know coming out of it, which is like we're meeting our hero at a low point to establish right away that he is the ideal. And this is, of course, the thing for Superman. Period. No matter which creator has their hands around the character, like what he represents as a figure for people, as a symbol of hope and possibility. And I agree with you completely, like to watch the character himself grapple with that and try to understand it with the people closest in his life. I want to go back to your points about the themes. We'll talk about that more maybe when we get to like Lex, but the micro and the macro of that, looking at that in a big way. How is the world seeing this person? How do they accept or reject that? When do they need it? When do they fear it? And then how inside of a relationship or a family unit might you process that and think about it and wonder where it leads you? I thought was like really well calibrated. To open the movie with Superman getting his ass kicked, right? If you're like a comic book nerd, your brain is racing right away. You're like, how? Why?
Who could have done that?
Of course, the answer is going to be his
by himself.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is like really
the only
smart.
person who could beat him would be him.
Yeah.
Right.
But he got his ass kicked like constantly throughout the movie. And some of that is in the fights. But a lot of it was like, to the point about the Lois conversation, like kind of forcing him to interrogate his ideas, his beliefs, just as the world is interrogating that. And the challenge with Superman always is the character's the most powerful. Is he going to be relatable? And David Corenswet's Superman, James Gunn's Superman, is relatable immediately and then consistently throughout the film. And that is, I think, the single hardest thing to do believably, convincingly, and well with a Superman film. It's like full marks for me.
I think it's part of the reason why it's been so hard to make successful versions of this story is that there's no real credible villain for Superman.
Right.
He is the most powerful being on Earth. You never really feel like he's losing. So to introduce us to him helpless just kind of changes your perception of what kind of character this is going to be. And then I think that escalates what you're describing, which is the personal vulnerability of the Superman character in the movie. This is the most unsure and I'm saying emo Superman we've ever had.
Perfect. The punk rock, unsure, but also certain he's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a good combo.
Yeah. I'm gonna read a text. A friend of mine was like, he didn't like the movie as much. And we had a conversation, a friend from back home, and he goes, got his ass whooped the whole time. The movie didn't really highlight his superiority. So, and my response to him is, you don't want that. You really don't want that because they tried that. They tried a guy who, there's one of the cooler scenes of the Justice League movie is at the end when Superman finally shows up and Steppenwolf swings his axe and he doesn't realize that there's a Kryptonian standing in front of him and the axe just sits there and Superman just looks at him like, you fucked up, right? Which is very cool. But you only want that in spots. You do not want that the entire movie because it's an amusement park ride. If so, it's just if you do it that way where nothing can touch him, where he's completely impervious to anything, then it's just watching him do a bunch of different feats.
Right.
And we've seen him save planes. We've seen him fight Doomsday. We've seen him. It's all back to story. It's story. It's about what you can give this character to put him in a place where he's unsure of himself because he is that powerful. I will say the comic book nerd in me was like, okay, so Superman gets his ass kicked by the Hammer of Baravia. He had no curiosity about who the Hammer of Baravia was, which to be honest with you, he is Superman. So if somebody whoops his ass, maybe
he should want to understand.
Maybe it causes an existential crisis.
Maybe if Clark Kent were interviewing anyone but himself,
right, he would have
be putting some of those journalistic chops to use to look into that.
But look, he's right back to it. He gets up and then, not to go forward too much.
Do it. We're in the deep dive. Do it.
Lex's combat style against Superman is fucking brilliant, y'all. It's brilliant. It's brilliant to have a visual and cinematic representation of brains over brawn, to where Lex is in a room choreographing these fights with a bunch of different people running around.
Yeah.
Like, it puts him into action. It makes him more than, I have a scheme. It makes him...
It literalizes the puppet master
absolutely.
quality. Yeah,
it was just a ridiculously awesome way to start and shape his character.
There's also something really smart about that choice, which is that without telling us, it makes us understand that Lex is obsessed.
Obsessed!
That he has studied him so closely that he thinks he knows his every move, which is not over-explained to us. We just get it by watching that. It's just really good comic book writing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought that there's a lot to talk about with Lex, but I thought that like the choice to use Ultraman really connected a lot of the thematic strands for him, because he has to like basically admit to himself that the only way he can beat Superman is to use Superman, right? So he is inherently acknowledging the thing that we will hear in his big like, yeah, it's my ego. Like, yeah, you make us feel weak, right? He has to acknowledge that in order to execute the plan. And then, of course, his warped psychosis is, well, I will wield that power. I will seek to control it. I will turn it into another tool. So I thought that was really smart. And then, like, for all of his brains over brawn speechifying in the truest moment of heat of battle, what does he keep doing? It's not all of the, like, different, 25C. 1A, 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 1A.
He just
At
freaking
the end of the day,
loses
he
it.
just wants to punch another dude in the face.
He's so angry that he loses it. He is
so
overcome with rage, envy. He's the living embodiment of I fucking hate you.
Yeah, that was great.
Anakin was crawling on Mustafar. He looks up at Oprah. I hate you.
You are my brother, Anakin. I loved you. We can do Revenge of the Sith.
Could you guys not do a Revenge of the Sith pod? Like, is any pod ever not a Revenge of the Sith pod? That you
Why
guys
would
do?
any pod ever be anything but a
started
Revenge of the
Ringerverse
Sith
on the Revenge of the Sith.
It's like our core bond. What did you, because we're talking a little bit about the action, what did you guys think more broadly across the movie about the set pieces, about the action, the volume of the incorporation, the visual style, the filmmaking, all of it?
Pretty good, I thought. I think Gunn's got like a real knack. He's got ticks. He's got recognizable, slow motion pop song to reveal the balletic choreography of devastation. There's a very exciting one of Mr. Terrific in the center of the film.
5 years time is going to be on every Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah, that was the song I went looking for.
That is a brilliant. That is a
great.
brilliant scene right there.
That was
so great
That was
moment.
my favorite action. I mean, it's not a Superman scene, which is maybe
one of my notes.
Bad thing for the Superman
one
movie,
of my
but that
notes.
was the best fight scene in the movie.
One of my notes is like, this movie needs like 10% more Superman, particularly one unique Superman individual set piece.
I agree.
Nevertheless, that scene is awesome. The Hammer of Baravia fight at the beginning is great. The kaiju stuff is also great. And
that was sad. That poor creature.
Yeah.
I think most of the final battle is also pretty special. There's a couple things that I found a little bit CGI-y.
You do not like we're being sucked into the black hole on the Proton River in the Pocket Universe Black Site prison and then holding the baby
and then the
sequence.
black hole, and also some of the
splitting.
I'm just like, this is from a different era of these comic book movies. Like, part of what is special about this movie, and you got at it with the Skittles metaphor. So many directors are afraid to embrace that color palette, I think, because they feel embarrassed to be making something that looks that color. It feels unserious.
Yeah.
And Snyder did this. Obviously, Nolan did this. I think it's very justified in the world of Batman, less so in other comic book storytelling. Even some of the MCU stuff is like kind of gray and brown and yellow.
We need to make you believe this is real life.
Yeah. And I don't want that. That's not what this is.
Totally.
Like, I didn't open comic books hoping to feel the experience of a wounded man. Now, Logan works, right? There's like versions of it that can work. But James Gunn is so unafraid to make this movie pop. But when it slips into like you're in the Pocket Universe or the black hole has come to Earth and everything is dark again, I'm like, that's not really what I want. I want Mr. Terrific.
That was incredible.
Doing back handsprings with his drones and eliminating mercenaries.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I thought the action was very, very good.
You know who fucked you on that? Who fucked you on that thing to where we had to get away from
Bryan
it?
Singer.
It was Joel Schumacher.
Oh,
because he failed. It was candy colored.
It was Batman and Robin.
Too camp, too gay. That was what everybody thought.
It was we're playing hockey with diamonds, and this is comic booky and everything, and everybody was like, "All right, let's do this. Let's strip it down." And part of the reason why people were a little afraid of the Tim Burton Superman because it was like, do we tonally know what audiences want in terms of our superhero movies? So let's strip it down. Let's make these movies, black it out, mute it out. Captain America goes spangly. One movie he goes spangly. Well, two with Avengers, and then we put him in a tactical suit. Yeah. Right? People
and it looked great. And it looked great.
Like people can't handle it.
Yeah.
And Gunn, to be honest with you, has never been afraid of it. He's never been afraid to splash it onto the screen and make you see the colors that these superheroes are supposed to have.
But when you think back on the most successful moments in the MCU, like the thing I thought about watching this movie is Thor arriving in Wakanda in Infinity War. Where he's like zooming in and he's holding the hammer.
Say it.
And
he needs the axe.
Say it.
Bring me Thanos. That's a great moment. Shot in daylight, and there's rainbows in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a comic book. He's a fucking Norse god. Don't be ashamed to do that stuff. So I think that this is a huge part of why this movie is mostly very successful, is it totally embraces that idea.
Yeah, I loved that about it. And I think, like, at the end of the day, if you were just going to describe the movie, the bare bones, the skeleton of it, which characters are here? What do they want? Like, who is the primary antagonist? It's Lex Luthor. At some point, will part of the plot hinge on whether he wants a country that he can rule over? Like, a lot of the beats are classic and have been present and centered in more of the Superman movies than they haven't been in. But it didn't feel like rehashed and reheated. It felt so fresh. And I think a lot of it is because James Gunn is such a confident, assured filmmaker. And he's like, this is what I do. Maybe you're not going to like it, but like, I definitely know what movie I'm making. And some of it feels very familiar and Guardians-like, but like some of it, when Superman saves the lone woman in the car on the bridge from the falling building, and we get what I would describe as not a gunshot at all, but a classic Superman shot. He rises in the ash and the smoke and the clouds. I got like a full body chill.
Jomi laughed at me.
Like, that was just incredible.
Jomi, I said it on the Midnight Boys. Jomi laughed at me because we were in the theater and he rises up and I went, oh my God.
It was amazing.
and Jomi laughed because he rise up. Hey, that I'm beautiful. Rise, I'm here. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's Superman. Are you okay? Cool. I gotta fly away and do more stuff.
It's like an erogenous zone if you're a fan of this stuff. You're just like, oh, you just like touched my spot. You know, like, oh, that's the Superman moment. Yeah.
Like, you have the punk rock. Everything with Krypto, who I can't believe we've gone this long without talking about, picking up and making sure the little squirrel is safe. Punk rocker at the end over the final sequence of the movie, like all the things that feel so specific to Gunn, but none of that came at expense of understanding the thing that people love about the character, which is a moment like that, and the ability to bridge what is classic, what is sacred, with what is going to be like my spin and my presentation, I thought was like really, really great. And part of the reason that it not only worked so well, but like it's such a confident starting point for like all the other films.
Can I ask you guys a question? When you were watching the movie, now that you've seen it twice, you've seen it, how much of it do you feel like, if any, was a reaction to the most recent depictions of Superman that we've got on screen? Like, there are a lot of saves in this movie.
Yeah.
Tons of saves.
Yes.
Like
the squirrel one seemed to be almost like being like, you see what I'm doing here. Every living creature matters.
I love that.
So it's like there are a ton of saves. And what people were saying,
which is a rejection of Man of Steel. Where like
total
100,000 people die
of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Superman cares so little in Man of Steel about the lives of the people in Metropolis that he has a full-on fight with Zod to the death right in the middle of the city and essentially nukes it. Which
taking us into the plot of Dawn of Justice.
Exactly, same thing. But like, as I was watching the movie, it does seem to be at certain points in the film that James Gunn was saying, that's not Superman. And not to one specific film, not to Zack.
I didn't think of it as a response.
You didn't think about that at all?
I think he knew he needed to take a different turn, but it also is just consistent, I think, with how he sees the world. I mean, his last film was an exploration of animal cruelty and the way that we treat each other in the world. Like, that's obviously really matters to him. He's very soft-hearted about those things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. I've never gone back to it.
Volume 3?
Can't do it.
I fucking love that movie.
I've only seen it once.
So sad.
I love the movie.
Oh my God.
I loved it when it was in there, but like, there was a point in the movie where me and Kalika were sitting down watching a movie. I love telling my stories of watching movies inside of theaters. And my eyes were full of tears. And I was like, I'm not doing this shit again.
Oh, I was like freely weeping during Guardians 3.
I'm not looking at this no more, man.
Yeah.
Like, I love my dog too much. But no, and that's well stated by you guys. And I guess what I'm saying is that, like, at the point that he saves the squirrel, he saves the little girl.
Yep.
Like, Superman is literally there just to make sure everything is going to be okay.
The creature they're fighting.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the because, of course, obviously, like, Lois and Mr. Terrific will team up and they'll align. And I can't believe I've made it this long without talking about one of the great loves of my life, Nathan Fillion, who I thought was like should win an Oscar for what he did as Guy Gardner. I thought it was fucking incredible. Honestly, all girls here, like the Justice Gang and this tension, even though they are, of course, ultimately aligned of what's the right way to do it. Like, Superman doesn't want to, I thought we could like take it to an intergalactic zoo or at least find a way to euthanize it less painfully. And he has to watch the belly of this poor creature explode and then gently lower its corpse.
Yeah.
But this is
to a more open area so that more people don't die. He's like, he wants things to be okay.
There's a deeper story choice, though, in the movie that I think indicates why it's not just a reaction to something else, which is that, is it Molly? Is that the character's name who is killed? When we get to that moment in the pocket universe where the Russian roulette happens, and that is the most bracing moment of violence in the movie, and it is the execution of someone who we know is empathetic to and understands Superman. The idea that he cannot save that person, that he has to watch that person die, is meant to be the payback for saving the woman, saving the child, saving the squirrel. Like, again, very good screenwriting. Like, we like talk about what is good and not good about movies, and we're like, I didn't like it, and you're talking these generalities. But to me, one of the reasons why Gunn is good is because you can see in the construction and the aftermath the choices he's making to make you better understand the characters and feel inside the world. That was an example of it where it wasn't just, this isn't Zack Snyder's Superman. It was, this is my Superman.
Right. Oh,
and that's really powerful.
And he also puts whipped cream on that scene too, because the guy gets killed. Metamorpho goes, he just killed that guy. And Superman goes, his name was Molly. And
he remembers.
that was a person with a full life and a full set of experiences that was killed for no other reason than the fact that this guy's a megalomaniac.
Yep.
And you're helping him.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, all those little things that really are, and these comic books get heady.
Oh, yeah.
We read them, we get deep into them, we get to other dimensions, but these are the things that that we have to believe in to make these worlds, to be able to glom onto these worlds.
We've talked a lot about Gunn. Let's talk more about Corenswet and what his performance and his casting unlocked as Superman, as Clark. I want to go through like the key relationships, obviously most key of all with respect to Lois and the Kents and Jor-El and it's Krypto, but we'll get there in a second.
Krypto.
I thought that this casting was perfect and that he was fantastic as both Clark and Superman. I thought one of the key choices in the movie was that he is only... tell me if I'm forgetting something. He's only Clark in 2.5 scenes. He's Clark when he goes into the Daily Planet and he's like on the phone call with Ma and Pa, and he and Jimmy are doing, they're like, oh, dude, you got the front page story, right? He's initially Clark when Lois goes back to the apartment. He's like, I'm making you breakfast for dinner. It's your favorite. It's your favorite, actually. Yeah. Classic. But then he kind of shifts. Yeah, of course. I do love
you love
breakfast
this?
for
Don't
dinner.
you love
I love
this
breakfast
restaurant?
for dinner.
No,
you love this restaurant.
restaurant.
Exactly. And he's obviously Clark in Smallville when he goes back home to recharge and reset. But even in that scene in Lois's apartment, of course, she's interviewing him as Superman. He's moving kind of in and out. So that's the one that I would call only like half. I thought this was great because it connects in such a core way to like who is my Superman. Like that's part of the point is they're actually not different for him. For this Superman, Clark and Superman are half a degree removed from each other. And that's part of why he is. I loved the moment before when the message is playing, before we get to hear the new part of it. And he has to hear the new part of it for the first time where he's like, I don't get it. Like, what's bad about that? Right. And like, obviously there's the humor in the Lois interview scene of like, how do you think this is going? Well, like, I think like
I'm doing a good job.
I'm doing a good job.
Some of the best lines in the movie.
Right.
Really good. Really good. But his humanity, obviously, I think one of the moments that some people are going to be like, well, I didn't need it to be quite core text and literalized and maybe that severe of an extent when he at the end is just like, I get scared, I try, and just, you know, kind of like says the moral of the movie out loud. I thought it was quite touching, actually. But he is a person and he has grown up as a human being on this world, and he is trying to channel that humanity in everything that he does as a hero. And when people reject that or question it, or when he has to confront the fact that even though he is the most powerful meta-human, he can't save a person who's 2 feet in front of him, it's incredibly effective and poignant because the humanity is that heightened and the two aspects of his identity are not drastically separated from each other. They're very closely aligned. What did you guys think of the performance? What did you think of that aspect of the portrayal?
So if you're not doing a version of the story where she doesn't know that he's Superman, he doesn't need to be Clark that much. I'm just being honest with you. If you're not doing a version of the story where that's the central
good point. I hadn't thought about that.
The central tension is not whether or not the world knows that Superman is Clark Kent. The central tension is whether or not Lois Lane knows that he.
Though you could do a movie soon about the like revelation of his identity, but that's not what this movie is.
Right.
Where like the public wants to know who he is.
So you don't need to spend that much time on him, that push-pull between him and the public if you're not doing that.
Yeah.
However, there is something interesting. He is not really called Superman in this movie very much. Even the people that know him, they don't refer to him as Superman, come here. They say Clark.
Yeah. And like Big Blue or something.
Big Blue or something like that. So the people that are talking to him, when they are referring to him, for the most part, there is some, but the people call him Superman.
Yeah.
But the people that know him.
Right, exactly. It's
they
like
call
one,
him
it's
Clark.
one and the
Lex
same.
calls him It.
Lex calls him It. So
dark.
There is that's a choice that to me is just, it indicates that James Gunn understands the audience. Marvel completely shuttered the idea of the secret identity. They completely shuttered it.
Right.
He doesn't completely shutter it, but he does let you know that these characters are one and the same.
Right.
But they're both still searching kind of for one another.
Yeah.
Superman in this movie actually becomes more human because to be a human is not to be able to understand what you can do in a lot of ways. To me, it's to be able to understand what you can't do.
Yes.
You're going to lose people. You're going to grow older. Like there's a part of this stuff where being a human is kind of about accepting loss.
Yeah. You're going to question yourself. You're going to fail.
Exactly. All of that stuff. And that's the point that we get to at the end of the movie. And I feel like Superman and Clark take that journey together.
Yeah. Agreed.
So Corenswet's an interesting choice because he's obviously huge.
Incredibly hot.
And very handsome. And tall.
Is quite tall.
And so he
very
is
tall.
kind of like on paper, like the measurables.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that's Superman.
Yeah.
But watching him in the movie, I was like, he's not that big.
It didn't say, everybody seemed to be as tall as him.
He doesn't really seem that big.
Yeah.
Like relative to when you're watching Henry Cavill and you're like, this is a giant statue. Like where did this 8 foot tall man who is 380 pounds?
The Trap?
like that on Cavill is just,
Well,
there's
that's
never
what I'm
been a
saying.
thing like
so
that.
there's a differentiation there. Now, he's closer to Reeve, right? Reeve was very
Like
tall.
6'3", 6'4",
and clearly very strong, but not muscle bound per se.
Mm-hmm.
He was broad shouldered, but not muscle bound. So Corenswet invariably is like kind of the lankiest Superman. Maybe he and Brandon Routh.
Wasn't that great about it though?
No,
like
it's good.
Yeah,
It's a good
parts
thing.
of the movie where when his suit moves and you can kind of see the like excess material.
Yes. So
I love that.
I like that too. And it's a good character choice because, you know, I wasn't saying that he's the emo Superman as a tongue-in-cheek gag.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is literally, generationally, would be a fan of emo and pop punk and is a fan of that kind of music. And that kind of music is defined by a kind of unsuredness and an openness and a sentimentality, but also a kind of like generational crisis feeling. And he's a 31-year-old young millennial who's like, is everything going to be okay? Am I going to be able to buy a house?
Right.
Should I get married?
I'm going to
Is it a
pretend
good
that
idea to
I'm
have kids?
not looking at my mentions on Twitter when I definitely
Totally.
am. Yeah.
And
he's defined by insecurity.
And the one thing I know that is a good thing to do, you're telling me that maybe I shouldn't have done it?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
like of all the questions I have, I know people dying in war bad. I went and did that, and now you're saying I shouldn't have?
And his first reaction is bluster and to fight back. But deep down, he's like, am I wrong? And you can feel the self-questioning, which is just, again, like, it's a very modern representation of this character.
Yes.
You know, when you look back at the origins of Superman, Jewish creators riffing on the Ubermensch, looking at the idea of a decency in a society that is like about to be confronted by fascism in Europe and all these things that are meant to come. This is not that character. This is an evolution or at least a shift in what that character was, which is a great choice. That's why it makes it a very contemporary feeling movie in addition to all the other themes that we can talk about.
That scene, talked about this a little bit on the Midnight Boys. There are a couple of times where I know that Gunn, or it feels that Gunn is looking at past portrayals of the character and going, okay, how do we update this?
Mm-hmm.
Because when Superman lands on Lois's balcony for that interview in Superman 1, she is totally overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
She can't get her shit together. What color are my panties? Like
just the amazing
like
sequence
the whole
in
thing,
that film.
She steps away from the lid, pink. And she can't get her shit together. Now I'm going to take you on a flight, and you are like, how big is my universe? I'm with the most powerful thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I am gone. It is over. I never lie, Lois. Right? The whole deal. Totally different. Totally tore it apart. She is reading him the riot act. He does not know how to respond. She is 2 or 3 or 4 steps ahead of him. And not in a way that belittles him, in a way that's trying to recenter him.
Specifically, I think because, and listen, we've worked together for 13 years.
Oh, wow. What's about to happen?
We've agreed on a lot.
Ooh.
Can we call her our shared wife? Rachel Brosnahan has never let us down, has never failed us. The marvelous Mrs. Maisel, killing it as Lois Lane, unsurprisingly. Just fantastic. But
I was just thinking about her.
your eyes have actually gone glassy and we've like lost you to a real-time daydream. Just take a couple minutes. Go for it. Yeah.
She's good.
She's very special. She was amazing. And the way that she was, the reason that it didn't feel like superior or belittling is because she wasn't saying to him, you don't know and I do. She was saying, I ask questions, including of myself. Like it's a moral imperative to stop and think and wonder, not only like, am I right, but should I get to decide that?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was like especially to frame that and present that to us in a like very charming, fast-paced. It actually is like a little bit choreographed as a dance, like the way that you go from the intimacy of the swooped up with one arm, put you on the counter and kiss you. Like one of the things we were talking about before the pod started is like, you can believe that these two have fucked and will continue to fuck. And that is like very powerful and they have great chemistry together. How do I turn this like recorder off? Not only does he not know how to use a recorder because he's not a real reporter and she is, it's just like the charm of like the shorthand of a relationship. He's about to in another scene say, I love you. And she's like gonna then reveal like, I was about to break up with him. What do I do?
Yeah.
You feel believably that they've like worked together and known each other for a while. Their relationship is new. She doesn't know he has a dog, but she does know that there is like something kind of foundational about needing to like maybe not laugh and think it's cute when you say you push somebody up against a cactus, right? And so like that was just, I thought that scene was great, not only to give us that kind of confidence boost that the performers have the necessary chemistry together, but to like make clear that Lois is not trying to be the moral authority and arbiter. She's just making sure that he knows he shouldn't think he is either.
Right.
But does the movie totally land there?
Well, I think that it does. That scene does one more thing, which I really liked, which is that it shows that Lois represents the modern conundrum of media, which is that she thinks that she has to represent a position for fear of being attacked or sued by the other side. But that isn't, that position that she has to represent as an objective journalist is not what she believes, which is, again, a very modern idea that has been in the news the last 10 years. The idea of like, is there a such thing as journalism that can come completely unbiased? And the whole movie is about division. The whole movie is about what is real and what is not real. And so putting her in the position, a character that we are naturally sympathetic to and rooting for, of making Clark feel like he's being gaslit or something by the questions that are being asked, where he's like, I saved lives.
Right.
Yeah.
How is that bad? And she's like, well, you broke a treaty.
Right.
You know, you didn't follow the rules.
Right.
And that the idea of making Superman crazy by that, which candidly represents the way that a lot of couples fight.
That is exactly
there's one person who's like, I'm just being logical with you. And the other person's like, I have feelings.
Exactly.
And you can't, that's kind of sorting through that, which is, again, this is really good screenwriting.
And
that's all I'm going to say.
Something else, you get the feeling of something else. She was waiting to have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
She was so...
She'd written those questions down beforehand.
She knew exactly
She'd done her prep.
What she would ask him if she got the opportunity to speak to him as Superman.
Yeah.
And that's why she kind of resented the fact that he was doing interviews with himself and not with actual journalists.
Right.
That's why she was making fun of him.
Preparing his sound bites.
Exactly.
That was great. I loved that. I also just really, really loved the moment where she said to him, like, I ask questions and you just think everyone is like beautiful.
Right.
And there was kind of I thought a really effectively presented blend of, and that is what I don't understand about you and also why I love you, captured in a single sentence, right? Like, that is not how I see the world. We are so different. We will hear her actually say elsewhere in the film, like, we are so different. How is this relationship going to work? And of course, I think that's another good example in the movie of the micro and the macro really connecting, because this question, which is one of the things that one of the many ripped from the headlines aspects of the movie, and Superman is eternal, but the film feels very contemporary, very urgent in a number of the thematic presentations and political aspects of the plot, and the way that Lex is trying to weaponize this idea that Superman is an alien. He's not from here. And I have my planet watch to come in and take him away to my black site. The fact that that is like the large global plot, in addition, obviously, to everything with Baravia. And then inside, that is not what's happening inside of the more intimate relationships. But there is that question of like, how do we talk this through to try to like find some shared understanding at the other end, or ask ourselves if that's even possible, was an interesting balancing act. I'm curious if you guys think that like where the movie landed at the end in terms of those bigger thematic swings was like successfully rendered. In part, we're asking a lot of questions of Superman, but the movie does sort of end in like, and he was right. Like, how did that feel to you?
I'm eager to discuss this with you guys, because the movie is, if not intentionally, unintentionally drawing allusions to Israel and Palestine.
Absolutely.
Russia and Ukraine.
For sure. Yeah.
The do we need billionaires conversation.
Yes.
The corrosive nature of social media.
Yep.
The history of torture and black sites in U.S. foreign policy. What am I forgetting? There's a couple of other major strands.
The danger of technology run amok in the wrong hands.
Yes.
So, these are the quagmires of our time. Yeah. These are like among the most unsolvable, difficult, frustrating aspects of life that are dangerous, like literally, mortal consequences around all of these ideas. And one of the incredible successes of the movie is that he managed to pretty legibly get all this stuff into the most important movie of the summer.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy to me. That not only did this happen, but that he does it pretty well.
Yeah.
However, I'm not sure that Superman is the valence through which you should be exploring these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Because Superman is an ideal.
Yeah.
Superman, his response to the complex is decency.
Yeah. And hope.
And I'm not sure that decency alone is the answer to some of these questions. I think that the world is actually much more, I know that the world is actually much more complicated, fractious, and hard to live through. And so when you get to the end of the movie, I really appreciate that James Gunn is thinking about these things, that they have affected him and he's processing some of those experiences into his art. That's what I want from movies. I don't want someone just like adapting a book and putting it on screen and not changing anything. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in a filmmaker taking their feelings about the world and putting it into characters and then letting us understand his point of view better.
Yeah.
That's why I interview directors on the show and mostly not actor on the big picture and not actors. And, like I really like writer directors. But the quagmire of Israel and Palestine is so complex and so fraught that conjuring the idea and then just saying we're all human, I don't know that that is enough.
So
is it a first step? Yes, it is.
I thought about this a lot, and I'll tell you why I think that it is. I view myself as a humanist, right? Which is very difficult, and it sounds really it's pretentious in a way. But I think about like just what's best for people.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think about what we would do if we lived in a world where we actually put that first.
Mm-hmm.
There would be compromise. There would be understanding. There would be decency. There would be kindness. There at times would be consequence, right? I think when you're looking at a superhero movie, particularly one like this with a character that's this old school, that's all you can ask. All you can ask is that Superman is a humanist. These problems that you have, these problems that we have, it's your fault.
You were acting as Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
These problems that we have,
you humans,
they all stem from the same thing, which is something that's a part of us, which is the tribalism.
Yeah. Selfishness, territoriality. Yeah.
All of that stuff, right? But if we ever truly put us first, really us first, we would understand that the way to get through all of that stuff is compromise. The way to get through all of that stuff is understanding. The character in this movie gets to that point. That soliloquy monologue is pretty ham-fisted. I thought that it served to set Lex up with a joke that didn't quite land when he goes, "Oh, that was beautiful." If Hackman was there, the whole theater would have bowled over in laughter.
I think this is a good moment to talk about Lex Luthor.
Well, no, I want to hear how you feel about the theme stuff though, because you're the best theme person I know. Like, does it matter that at the end of the movie that Superman is like, we all put our pants on one leg at a time, and then like that's the answer to being alive in 2025?
Well, the last thing I'll say about it is this. Is in the movie, to me, the fundamental thing is that like it doesn't paint Superman as an otherworldly figure that is here to save humanity's problems.
Right.
It paints him as a human that is solving humanity's problems. And the takeaway from me is we are both capable of creating these intense, seemingly unsolvable problems, but we are also capable of solving them if we have the right thrust to do so.
So,
can I just say one more thing before you share your thoughts?
Yeah.
That works for me when you're making Superman a human being with Lois. It doesn't work for me when the answer at the end of the movie is that the Justice Gang has to go flip tanks over in Jarnpur. Like,
and then
that part where I'm like, so it is war is the answer? Like, it is violence is the answer?
Execute a head of state.
Yeah, I mean, Is that the answer?
That's
like
that's part
the
of why
movie doesn't really understand that part of itself. Like it doesn't really. It's not actually recognizing that humanist concept. If the answer is Guy Gardner needs to just give the middle finger to the invading nation, like it's not, that's the point. The world is more complicated. So
that's part of why I asked about how you guys felt about where it landed at the end in that respect, because I don't think that's the most successful part of the movie. I do think that what you're saying worked though. And the fact that like the film is and Gunn are so interested in looking at like how the ideal of Superman, but just more broadly, the like what role, what chance does Hope have in a like MAGA outrage Fox News world? I thought it was fascinating.
Hope and action though.
Yeah, deciding to do something, deciding to try. And I think the fact that I think the fact that this is a Superman, this is a Clark in his life as a hero, but in his just life period, who is very much in a moment of dissonance and dualities of like feeling assured that there must be a way forward. Well, if you didn't believe there was, like, what would be the point of any of it? And also confronting that it's not actually that simple. I think it's really interesting that to the, like, I called in some friends point, this is a little bit inverted to start with an ensemble for Superman, right? We usually start very focused and small, and then we build toward, like, a Justice League team up or something. We're meeting this Superman at a moment where, because he's getting his ass kicked because he's facing Ultraman, or because the problems are actually too big for anyone, even Superman, to handle by himself. Yeah, he has to work with other people. Whether
but still
it's perfectly
through the modes
executed,
of like interventionism, like old school, the world's policeman stuff. That is like, that's kind of an outdated idea.
I think there is some muddling. Yes, I agree. I think there's some muddling of the kind of like thematic messaging and takeaways on that front for sure. It's more successful at, I think, posing and asking the questions and the ideas than totally landing them in that respect. But to your point, I think it's like, it's cool that we got those questions presented in this form.
It doesn't ruin the movie for me, but it's like, if you put those ideas in front of me, I'm going to confront them. Like, I will look at them as you're trying to look at them.
Yeah, of course.
The movie has to be understood on that wavelength.
Yeah. I think, look, like me and Charles went back and forth about this, and he had some really, really good podcast. He's a very brilliant guy.
He's the best.
I had a meeting with him this week, and I was like, wow, Charles has grown up a lot. I said this to him in a follow-up meeting that we had, so I don't mind saying it on a podcast. But I was like, he's really smart. He's really matured.
He's great.
But you know, I think, put a pin in this before we go, that is like something that superheroes have never actually had to litigate before. And it's interesting watching them do it. The most interesting thing about the middle part of the Marvel run was Captain America going very arrogantly, going,
the safest hands are still our own.
I'm a good person.
Yeah.
And I can flip.
Yeah.
And that means that when I see something that
I should get to decide.
I should get to decide was right or wrong. I trust the people in this room. I remember sitting in the theater going, I don't know, man. But like, it seems like we should make these decisions by committee.
And that's the plot of Civil War.
Right.
Right? Like, that's what the Sokovia Accords
on the other side. I wish somebody would just go over there, and I just wish somebody would go to places and take care of it.
It's not nearly as active of a debate in this movie.
There's also one more material difference between the two. In the MCU, the arms dealer is a hero. In the DCU, the arms dealer is the villain. And so you are forcing us to be binary in that way. The Marvel, I'll give it credit. Like, that is a kind of nuance that's part of why those movies are the best movies in the run of that series, is that there is a gray. There's a moral debate between these two really interesting characters and these two good actors. And you get invested in who is right. Is it the person who says, I am the one that carries the big stick and knows the way? Or is it the world is changing, we have to think differently about how we act?
It's also, though, not to make this I'll try to make the same pledge you guys did, not to make this a Marvel pod, but by the time we get to like the Sokovia Accords debate and the fracturing of the Avengers, it's not just that. It's also that we have so much time with Tony and so much time with Steve that we are like completely wrapped because they are both inverting and subverting our expectations. Steve has gone through movie after movie at that point of needing to question and reject structure and authority and the thing that you signed up for and committed your life to. Like recognizing that not only is it maybe fallible, it might actually be literally Hydra.
Got in his head.
Right. And then Tony, the rogue, has to be like, maybe we should have some checks on us, actually. We have so much history with those characters. We don't have anything close to that because it's the first movie with this version of the characters for understanding what is Clark's relationship to the government, to the people who are sitting in that room with Lex. Like
that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like in those scenes, you ask yourself, like the U.S. government is punting on so much of this or being manipulated by the evil of Lex Luthor that you go,
Tech power.
There's really only the movie. Yeah, the movie does put you in kind of a posture where you start to believe, well, there's really only one person who can do anything about this.
And it's Krypto.
It's Krypto.
And it's Krypto.
Because everybody else is so controlled by forces that like are so compromised that you go, well, there's only one person who can do something. Yeah. I think that hits on a frustration that a lot of people feel right now. It's like, who is the one person that even that their paycheck, their livelihood, their fame, their whatever is not connected to somebody that doesn't stop them from doing the right thing or saying the right thing or taking action when action is supposed to be taken.
Yeah.
All of this from Superman.
It's a rich text. It really is a rich text. I'm quite surprised by how deep this movie was.
Gunn's got a lot on his mind.
I know.
Always. Do you guys?
I'm surprised that he went there because when you're the second time I watched it, I looked over and I was like, this is pretty on the nose, man. Like for what, pick a conflict, but all of the ones that are in our sphere right now. But like this is, I'm interested to see the takes that'll start to come out Monday, Tuesday,
I know.
Wednesday next week.
It's going to be a fascinating time.
Don't think
conservative
pundits are very big fans of this film.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I've already seen like Shapiro shit on it. Scott Jennings looked like he wanted to shit on it, but it's a WB thing, so maybe you won't.
Interesting.
Okay, I want to come back still to Clark and his parents, both sets, to Clark and Krypto. But because we're on the big themes, the incorporation of these very urgent and intense ideas, let's talk a little bit more about Lex Luthor here for a minute. What did you think of Nicholas Hoult's performance? This is a character, I mean, this is like one of the most trotted out villains in storytelling. We have seen many, many, many versions of Lex. How did this one work for you in general? How did it work for you in terms of how he is really the puppet master, chess master, the person who is getting all of this going and then saying in a kind of grand fashion, I did all of this so that I could kill you because you make me feel small. Nicholas Hoult, Lex Luthor, where is he falling for you among the other Lexes? How did this performance work for you?
So it was actually awesome.
How do you feel about his current tour de force on the fashion front during the press junket?
You know, I thought when they first announced him as Lex, you know what my gut feeling was like? My reflex, shall I say, was like, he's too good looking. Like he's
great looking.
I was like, he's too good looking for Lex Luthor. He's gonna take away from Superman. It's gonna be like a situation where he's drawing magnetism from the Man of Steel.
And now every day you open Instagram and you see him with the bleached blonde hair and the tied sweaters, and you're like, I was right.
He's going crazy.
Great looking.
He's going nuts, and he's too tall. Maybe you want Lex to be a little shorter than Superman. It totally worked. He brought an ugliness to the character that he was able to do through performance, which is very difficult. Lex looks like somebody that has all of that stuff, but you still kind of feel sorry for. You feel sorry for the fact that he's so obsessed. You feel sorry for the fact that he's so damaged.
You feel sorry, like you feel empathy for him, or you pity him?
Not empathy, like think about what he could be doing if his entire life wasn't being the biggest fucking hater in the world, right?
Well,
it's more that he's pathetic.
He's pathetic, right?
Yeah.
And then also something else that this character was able to get that a lot of the Lex portrayals don't get is he is fucking dangerous. He is a danger to anyone he is in proximity to.
Yeah.
He is dangerous. Nobody in that room, even as he's massaging soldiers and giving high fives and all of that, the cool, this is reveal at the end of the movie
I
was
know.
cool too.
I know.
Like,
we finally got an Otis shout out.
But no one around him feels like they're safe. Everyone feels expendable. Everyone feels like a lower life form to him, which is what you have to get right to get Lex Luthor.
I don't know where we're going to land when there's no Earth was a good moment for the minions and like because everybody actually played for like a huge laugh in the theater, the knocking over of the mug. It's very amusing. And then you sort of very quickly realize you're complicit in laughing at the monster. But whatever context he's in, if he is the very like overt Elon-esque tech billionaire who is walking into the halls of power and saying, look at this thing I've made for you to make it all easier just let me do it for you. Just let me do it for you. Mm-hmm. Or if he is in his, the separated, ship bridge of his building saying, I'll give you the codes to input. Like we can do it when we get to a city that I care about.
Yeah.
No matter what the context was and how small or large the scope of the horror that he was about to inflict, it was like terrifying to watch. And that glint in his eye was chilling. I thought he really captured. I love Jesse Eisenberg, but I'm really not a fan of that version of Lex, which I thought was just like.
Don't get me fucking started, man.
Too
grotesque,
twitchy, and strange to like kind of process. Though I do enjoy a Jolly Rancher as well, so maybe there's common ground even there. And,
revolting scene.
But like the Hackman Lex is.
An all-time movie character.
An all-timer. Yeah. So everything is measured against that, of course. Yeah. And like we get a lot of the same character beats, but very different performances across the various movies.
Yeah, I think he's good and not great. Like Hoult, I don't have any problems with it. I like what you guys said about the way that Lex is drawn as a character. I think the dangerous thing in particular, I hadn't quite thought of it that way.
Egomaniac.
Yeah, but that's a really good point though, that he will literally put his ex-girlfriends in a shadow prison. Like he's in Bad Man. And that
she
was
wrote
effective.
A blog about me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's the pettiest of petty.
Yes.
And a real like Googling himself all day long kind of a guy.
And how scary is it when someone that powerful is also petty?
Of course.
James putting the reality shit into the movie again.
No question.
Same thing.
I mean, who like is more likely to the literal like troll army of the monkeys with the super shit hashtag and like farming the outrage to just spread and like creep into the interwebs and society as this noxious fume. Who better, of course, to do that than a person who feels that way about their life and what other people think of them.
What would have made him great? Because I tend to agree with you. I would say great. I would say good plus, but I also don't want to be unfair to him because I do think that like, okay, when Superman comes into his office and slams the desk.
Yeah, the first time when he's looking for Krypto.
When he's looking for Krypto.
Great scene.
Happens in the original Superman movie.
Yeah.
And Hackman just throws it away. Oh, my attorneys will be in contact with you about the damage to the door.
That's so bad.
Like just and there's a part of me that's Lex Luthor. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm judging Hoult.
It's possible. I mean, in the comics, as far as I know, I could be wrong about this, but I feel like Lex is just older than Superman.
Yes.
And Corenswet and Hoult are more or less contemporaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is this kind of like my idea of the world thing that is put forth, which I think makes sense. That you've got this division, the two sides, and they come from the same time. But not to be like not my Lex Luthor, but that's just not how I see the character. I see the character as an older guy who is self-made, who has built up this corporation over decades. And it is because of his success that he is driven mad by Superman. He's like, I did this all by myself. I built my empire. And then this guy comes along and they don't worship me, they worship Superman.
Love him. Yeah.
And so that to me is where I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not sure if I really buy like 34-year-old Nick Hoult.
But like we are in the era of the world where that does happen, right? Where 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds.
It does, but if it's Bezos coded, he's in his 60s, these guys are Zuckerberg is young. But the problem is that Zuckerberg was too much a part of the Snyder idea in casting Eisenberg, and even in the way he's portraying that character, the kind of goofball, curly haired, mop top. Is this guy seriously in charge? That energy that he's giving in that movie. So I don't know. I try to not be like I could have done a better job of writing Lex Luthor than you can, James Gunn, brilliant screenwriter, but it just didn't totally pop for me the way that he conceived the character.
There were a couple of times to where I was like, I'm getting his Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I agree. Lex Luthor, the three leads
they're good. They're all good.
They all did their thing.
Yeah.
Superman is a home run. Lois Lane is a grand slam.
I agree.
And Lex Luthor is a very solid double, which you could leg out to 3 if you're Pete Crow Armstrong.
Just do not say his name. Never, ever say his name to me again.
Fans. Very painful for Mets fans. That was mean. Are you okay? That's a tough one.
You know what's doubly worse about that is that Javi Baez also in the All-Star game this year.
Well,
so we don't even have Javi Baez. We don't.
That one annoys me too because he beat out Holiday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That second. It's very annoying.
Pete is the man.
Pete's amazing.
Can you please stop?
Okay.
Pete's amazing. You know what's really interesting about that? Heading into the film, or just around the casting news, I would have said that Hoult was the most likely to be a Grand Slam because I just think he's a mesmerizing performer. Yeah. Do you guys watch The Great?
Yes, he's great in that movie.
The show.
The show The Great. Have you seen The Great?
I've never seen it.
Van.
The Great?
Yeah. Yeah, it's about Catherine the Great. He plays Peter. Here's my sales pitch.
That might sound stuffy and boring. It is not.
It's did you watch The Favorite?
I don't watch those shows like that. It's that type of shit.
It's
basically a comedy.
Absurdist
it's like a sex
comedy.
comedy.
He spends the entire show talking about how much he wants to, and I'm using his words here, eat pussy, and how every time he does, it tastes like pineapple or peach. He will receive a vibrant bouquet of breakfast offerings, and he'll pick up a fig and just look at it and then say, "I want to go eat pussy." That's the show. Correct?
Oh wow!
It's the vibe of the show.
I've never seen it. Yeah, I've never.
It's great.
It. Okay.
It's very fun.
Okay, I'll check him out. I love him in everything that he's in. The Lex thing makes me start to think, because people talk about the fact that we had a Superman problem. I would say that the Superman that we've cast have been capable more than not. Brandon Routh is a lot for the kid, man. It was like one of his first big things. Yeah. He looked exactly like Christopher Reeve. Not exactly, but enough to where you were going to compare him.
Yeah.
But I remember in that movie going to the film and going, Kevin Spacey cannot miss as Lex Luthor. It was going to be great, and coming away going,
that's not a very good.
Like
not
going,
a very good Lex Luthor.
That didn't work.
It was a nice yacht.
Who's his assistant though? Is it Parker Posey?
It's Parker Posey.
Yeah.
I remember her enjoying her. I have to revisit that movie this weekend.
Then, I think
I watched it last weekend. Not a good film.
Okay. Cal Penn was in it.
Cal Penn
was in it. So it's like I remember going to the movie and going, and then when we come to, and at the same time, you have Rosenblum who is on Smallville, who is like
kind of a mini legendary Luthor, like a very iconic portrayal of that character,
reinventing the character. Yeah. We spent so much time with him. You come back to not Man of Steel, but like the Batman versus Superman, and we've totally lost the plot. Like we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I know that Zach had a bigger plan to, he goes bald at the end. We're going to do the whole deal or whatever. But like, we've lost the plot. We don't know what we're doing anymore.
You know what the tricky thing, I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself in where you want to take this conversation, but Lex is the antagonist of like 5 out of the 6 Superman movies, right? Like he is the primary enemy, and the movies keep going back to him over and over and over again. Part of it is because it's a brilliant design. It's the most powerful being in the world and the smartest man in the world.
And Superman doesn't have a deep rose gallery.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it worked in this movie. It worked that it was Lex. It felt very modern because it was Lex.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want Lex to be like really a part of this going forward.
I was going to ask you guys that because Krypto kicks his ass. Incredible. Great stuff. He's shipped off to Belle Reve at the end. Like, do you think we're going to see him again soon? It's obviously like
I want the
spots.
Mr. Mix.
I don't know how to say it. I can barely say anybody's name.
But
Mr. Mixapixelix or whatever.
That's what I want, and I want him to be a participant in whatever is in the message with his parents, and I want to go back to that because they're kind of like hinting that not as all as it seems, even in that.
Well, let's talk about that. We haven't talked about the parents. This is like a huge part of the story.
My
both
guy,
sets
Brad
of
Cooper.
parents.
Yeah.
Two Eagles fans. No, it makes total sense that Brad Cooper would be David Corenswet's father.
I know. We haven't gotten Chris Ryan to chime in yet, but I have to assume that The Watch will come out pro.
I think they're solemnly sworn
Philly
to support those two boys. Yeah.
Last thing quickly before we move on from Lex, to your point about him being too young, I do think of all the things that feel like very contemporary about the movie. The like, I don't have to wait to earn it. Why am I? He's like so mad that Superman is the center of the world's attention. And he's like, I should right away be the center of the world's attention. Felt kind of true to me. But okay, the parents. Let's first take the Kryptonian parents, and then let's take the found family in Smallville. Is your read that it is an open question whether the message, despite all we hear about the fact that it's not fabricated, that little moment where Lex is like, it's not fake, like in private, where he didn't need to say that if it were. Obviously, that's something that could be left open to retconning regardless. But did you think it was actually like a trick?
I think there's still an open question, and if they want to return to it, they can with a certain kind of character. Because, Superman, one of his other kind of vulnerabilities is he can be kind of tricked.
Mm-hmm.
That you can't out-muscle him, but he can be duped. And a lot of the rogues gallery are often about kind of like undermining his perception of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so there's a way to do that. And this would be the deepest cut for him.
Yeah.
And I kept waiting for the movie to do that. I kept waiting for the movie to show us that Lex had in fact changed the message in some way. On the other hand,
it seemed to be saying that is not what happened.
It was definitively saying that in this movie.
Yes.
On the other,
it could change that.
And
later.
Jor-El and Lara like being patrician assholes is like kind of canon.
It's, I would say simultaneously in line with canon and a real bold ratcheting up of the extent of their.
It is.
How is that sitting with you?
It is definitely canon that they are the elites of their planet,
yes.
right? But the fact that they have direct negative designs on the Earth,
that's new.
That is a why. I'm sure there's somebody listening to this somewhere that goes, man, you haven't read the Superman run, 1970, where Jor-El was the worst. Sure. I get it. But
to the bulk of the people watching that's going to be shifting them into the Zod camp.
All of these things I think can be kind of explored in Supergirl, by the way, because there's another Kryptonian that's on Earth that is she trying to start a secret whatever. So I guess we'll have that conversation, but that's a significant change to the lore of Superman.
It is.
Yeah. Because if he's sent, he's a Viltrumite, right?
Yes,
like
it's very Omni-Man.
Like in that case, then he's come here to rule over everyone, and that change, he only thinks that he's supposed to be good. Now, once again, they have gone very heavy with the Jesus themes and the Moses themes of the past movies. They've gone very heavy with putting the baby in the basket across the river of Galaxy, and they're going to look to you. You're going to be their thing.
Right. That would have seemed repetitive.
Right.
To go back to that.
Back to that. But to secret harem, lord over them, show no mercy? Shit. Like, I was surprised.
It's a bold choice.
That they
very
went
bold.
there. My question is, will we see Jor-El and Lara like again?
Yeah.
Or are they just a device for this specific movie? Because we never see Superman's parents again.
Yeah.
Right.
There are no fucking holograms, and there's no. We saw the crystals were in the background. If
they were, but the implication is that he has this one message, not that like Marlon Brando is looming over him as this ever-present guiding AI until like that goes away. So it seems like that's it.
What about Angela Sarafian? Another one of my gals.
Yes, this is a big movie for you. I thought that this was again really smart to like really play with our expectations of what might be waiting on the other end of that glitch. As soon as you see that there's a glitch, you're like, okay, what's the rest of the message? Right? It's set up effectively. They can absolutely retcon that in future stories to say Lex did lie. The people who were the 28 or whatever, like, tech bros who said it was authentic also lied or were duped because Lex is that smart or whatever. Or that could be what they stick with. Either way, it works inside of this movie because it causes this complete and utter crisis of not just confidence, but like, who am I and what have I built my life around? And I thought that the way that the message from Lara and Jor-El stitched in with Ma and Pa Kent was like maybe my favorite non-Krypto edition part of the and non-Guy Gardner edition part of the movie. Because, okay, so when we first meet the Kents, when we first see Ma and Pa, and they're on the phone, I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, what is this, like, bumpkin caricature that we're getting? I was, like, worried and a little, like, insulted. I was seriously, like, what is happening?
On behalf of the state of Kansas?
on behalf of the state of Kansas, yeah. I so quickly moved into... I was so moved by the scenes with the Kents and Clark when Lois takes Krypto and Clark back to Smallville. And first of all, great moment where he wakes up and Krypto is napping on his belly. Just wonderful stuff. I mean, for the pet lovers, this is just inspired and just fantastic. Krypto like sniffing the cows and running around in the yard. That's just great. All of that was great. The scene where John goes out and joins Clark on the bench. I was like in tears. I was so moved and touched watching that. Two things that I thought really stood out. One, the moment he's just like, it doesn't really matter what was in the message. Like, of course, it feels like the most monumental and seismic thing that has ever happened to you in your entire life. But what matters is what you thought the message meant. Yeah. It's what you thought it should be about. And then, of course, the other thing that he says is like, parents aren't for telling their children who to be. Like, we give you the tools and we help you. Like, I thought that was like
realest shit he ever wrote, though. That's like being parent. I feel it every day where I'm like, I'm just trying my best to give you as much as I can of what I think is right.
Yeah. And then you have to figure out who you are.
What you're going to do.
Right. I feel the same way.
I loved that.
Like,
with Jomi?
I father these niggas every day. No. Well, a little uncomfortable now. But no. Yeah. I mean,
it's beautiful.
Like that's what it. I liked the country bumpkin thing. At first, it was jarring.
Yeah, and then it's like so earnest and sweet. And when Ma calls him mush, and he's just like, "I'm so proud of you," and they're nuzzling their heads.
It does feel like a rejection of Kevin Costner and Diane Lane.
Well, but that was smart.
And of Gregory Peck.
Yeah.
And of like the dude from the Dukes of Hazzard that was on Smallville. Like when he John Kent on the Bo Luke or is Bo or Luke, whatever. Bo or
I don't know the actor's name.
Kevin Costner and Diane Lane are two, let's just say it, two of the hottest people who've ever lived.
They look fucking great.
They're two of the hottest people who've ever lived.
The problem with that choice is that it looks like they are Superman's parents. The whole point of the story is that they're not. They're supposed to be more ordinary.
And so I really love that this, like, maybe it's a little too like literalized, but I love that it sort of heightens the idea of like the family you choose and the family that chooses you. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you guys, but like at the end of the movie, when he goes back to 4/Gary at the Fortress of Solitude, and Gary's like, soothes you, gonna boot it up. And it's not the old message that he always listened to, but it's the clips. I was fucking weeping. The clips of the Kents.
That's James Gunn, man.
Dude, it's his
like that. That's
it's Yondu saying like he might have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. Like it's perfect. It's vintage Gunn.
Yondu was a human trafficker. But,
well, I mean, the Kent did not work with the Ravagers. That's true. But other than that, there are some parallels.
I totally get it. And even that, the Yondu thing, I'm not gonna get off on this, but the Yondu thing is also indicative of how James writes, because Yondu loves Peter Quill the whole time. It's just that we don't know. And the rest of the Ravagers are saying like, you're sweet on the boy. We just think maybe he just has a soft spot, but really that's his fucking
like
son.
Peter thought. He's like, I was small. I could fit in the small spaces.
Right.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this, number one, because this is a more believable Ma and Pa Kent. Ma and Pa Kent don't have to be fucking amazing and good, and they just have to be simple people with simple wisdom for a guy who looks at the world
Good
in
hearts.
very simple terms of good and evil. And like that scene at the end is actually his father, not the end, but that part, his father distilling a very complex idea down to something that Clark can understand, which is you've already decided to be good.
Yeah.
What difference does it make what they say?
Exactly.
What difference does it make what we say? You've decided to be good. We've put you in a position where you make that decision every single day. Go out and bring that to the world.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. And like sometimes when your parents give you messages, they don't reinvent the wheel. It's their authority and their love and their investment in you that reassures you that what you're doing is the right thing, right? But the past John Kents, these guys were fucking from Brown and Princeton. They were societal experts.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling him, don't tell people.
Yeah.
They were telling him about his secret identity.
This is how you have to position yourself.
This is how you have to position yourself. This is what
think.
you're gonna have to do, and all of that. I'm gonna have the wherewithal to sacrifice my life so you cannot save me.
Well, I
still have some notes on the tornado.
It's a real paradox. I mean, I'm reluctant to get too far into the psychology of a parent, but the truth is that in my very limited experience thus far, it is both. It is that when you're raising a kid, you constantly are telling them what not to do because they don't know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
And so for their own safety, I feel like all the time I'm like, don't, please, wait, stop, hold on. Like that feeling comes naturally because you have this protectionist instinct. And so I think that portraying Clark, Ma and Pa in the previous films in that way is rational and reasonable. And I also think that there's something nice about the way that we see Ma and Pa in this movie, which is sort of like encouraging and thoughtful and inspiring. It is a little bit of a fantasy, the same way that I think a little bit of his engagement with the real world in this story is a little bit of a fantasy. Right. They're just like, you be the person that if you have good in you, go be good. Like that's actually that's not really a message you would give your kids. You would talk to your kids about human decency. Right. You would talk to your kids about how you want to be treated and then how you should treat others.
Right.
But these like bromides about goodness, I think that doesn't really prepare you for the world.
By the way, I would like to apologize to the family of Glenn Ford.
I didn't want to correct you, but yeah.
No.
It was not Gregory Peck.
It's not Gregory Peck that played John Kent. It's Glenn Ford. I knew I was wrong when I said it this time. I think I might have said it on the Midnight Boys too. Ford family. Apologize.
They all unsubscribed from Ringerverse.
Right now. That's not what my dad said to me at all.
What did he say?
Said, get your ass in this fucking house. How about that? That's what he said.
As we've discussed, you and I were raised very similarly.
Right. That's what he said. But when I think about the things that he told me, they all had this direct pathway to just personhood.
Yeah.
It wasn't too much about how I was going to navigate my life. And I'm sure there are a lot of people's parents out here that told them, hey, you're going to study this, you're going to do this, and you're going to go here. Every lesson I ever got was about personhood. It was about this is what type of person has utility and value in society. And these are the traits and characteristics that you want to have if you want to be a person like that.
Yeah.
And the reason why he was able to tell me that is because he kept me alive. Because he taught me how to use the urinal, because he taught me how to play baseball, because so many other parts, he gave me my diet, he gave me my religion. So there are parts of my personality that he could both give to me and then also cement in me. Mm-hmm. Like when I didn't know who I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's why I really loved the end when they boot up like all of the home movies, because like they're the most ordinary things. Right? It's like I was playing with you in the yard. Mm-hmm. Like I lifted you up. Not actually, I told you how to be a hero. That's not, it's like, that's not what the story of these Kents were. It's like you grew up and you lived a life and like now you're figuring out who you want to be.
Now you're a soy boy living in a big city.
It's true. You know something else about that quick little, montage? Mm-hmm. There was no super stuff in it.
Yeah.
I think that was a choice.
Good call.
There was no super stuff in it. There was no time when they were playing with him and he was flying.
Yeah. No Jack from The Incredibles.
No Jack from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
I just watched Incredibles 2
That's
again.
a great
fucking masterpiece,
great
bro.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, know him picking up the car like he did for Glenn Ford. No, like none of that stuff, right? It's no othering of him. He was one of them. He was a kid.
He was their son.
He was their son.
You go into his room and it's just like the trophies and the diploma, and of course Lois gets to look at like the music posters and everything. It's like, yeah, it's just this was their
What was
their
the name
life.
of his band that he liked?
The
Crab
Mighty
Joys.
Crab Joys.
The Mighty
The
Crab
Mighty
Joys.
Crab Joys.
Mighty Crab Joys.
Mighty Crab Joys.
Mighty
And then
Crab
and then
Joys.
James, as he always
Good
will,
stuff.
he gave you an original tune.
He did.
Sure did.
He did.
Not nearly as many needle drops in this movie as in a typical.
No, but
Gunn
I would
movie.
encourage fans of this movie to go explore the official Spotify playlist.
That's right. Every character has
of the
their
characters, because
Yeah.
again, James Gunn just very learned in music. He knows a lot about music, and he has a lot of great choices on those playlists.
I would like to talk for a couple moments longer about Krypto because we have not spent enough time on the dog. We're pet enthusiasts. You are, I would say, it's. I don't want to go with like empty inside, but you're not when we talk about animals.
I was raised with pets.
Yeah,
I love
but-
animals.
Well, I have seen you've met my cat a couple times and you were
Yeah.
very sweet with him. If I remember correctly, the first time you met Halo, you went up to him and you said, "Halo, what's up?"
Yeah.
Sounds right. Sounds like me.
What's your proper way to greet
Which
a
was
cat?
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I had 3 cats growing up as a child, and I had a dog.
You love an animal.
I do.
Maybe
love
not
them.
as much as we
I
do, but
haven't
you love
had
an
a
animal.
pet in my
In a while.
life since I was 16.
I thought Krypto was an instant rock star, just a complete sensation. They gave us. Did you get this when you went earlier in the week? We got comic books at the
We didn't get.
at
We
the
received
movie.
nothing.
Yeah, we got comic book.
Very cool. We went.
Wow.
We went to an
They bought
IMAX
you.
showing.
They bought you guys off.
It worked. Here we
Yeah.
are. Look at that.
Mhm.
We got comic books. Krypto was, of course, on the cover with Soups, as he should have been. I thought that Krypto was amazing. James Gunn likes to put people in his life, whether it's a friend like Nathan Fillion or his brother or his partner, all of whom are wonderful performers and deserve to be in these stories and are great in the movies. And now his dog, Ozu, is the model for Krypto. So the dog has been added to the list. And you can watch online some clips of Ozu watching Krypto and checking out his own work. And I think it's mesmerizing. And I have no notes. That's my take on Krypto. I was not expecting Krypto to be in the movie this much,
Fuck no.
but I really loved it.
It's a lot. It's a lot of the dog.
I knew he was going to do this.
It's just. It's not that it's bad, and it is canon. It's just he gets like 5 moments in the movie.
Maybe more.
That's
More.
That's a lot.
So Krypto gets a moment where Superman's not even around. Krypto gets a moment to attack the engineer inside of the Forces of Solitude. Like Krypto's in this bitch.
Yes.
That was sad because he got the nano.
He got the nano stuff on
muzzle
him.
and it was upsetting.
The dog, I thought it was well used. He didn't leave a lot of. The movie is both like really bloated, but also there's not a lot of fat in it.
Yeah.
Almost everything that's in the movie has some type of use in the film.
Yeah.
And
It's like you had chicken for dinner, but a lot of chicken.
a lot of chicken.
Like way too much chicken.
Like a lot of chicken breasts. Like fucking what was the one? Did you see it? Did you see Jonathan Majors' magazine Dreams?
I certainly did 3 years ago before all the
Oh wow.
news happened. I
Wow,
saw it
look
at
at you.
Sundance.
Yeah, okay.
And I watched it and I didn't like it then.
Right. It's very intense. But he eats
Great performance,
great
honestly.
performance, but he eats a shit ton. And that's basically what this was.
Yeah.
But Krypto was in the movie a lot.
Yeah.
But
it
he
was
served a purpose.
He was great.
He served a purpose. No?
How dare you?
Yeah, just
First
you
of
know.
all,
They
he-
take the
He's the closest the movie gets to like MacGuffin-y, where I'm just like, oh, he's here to save the
he
day.
is a central
character in the movie.
with an arc and a soul and a heart and
Okay, all
formative
right, all right.
bonds with his co-stars.
And
He-
also, he's never more than a dog. He's just being a dog the whole
Yeah,
time.
he just wants
Being
to
a pup.
play.
He just wants to play.
And we have
Yeah,
strong,
He's a pup.
Yeah.
strong story setup. We have strong story setup because before he annihilates all of Lex's drones, he has previously destroyed the T-spheres.
Mm-hmm.
In your least favorite stretch of the movie, in the pocket dimension, River of Doom. So that was all great. Krypto was wonderful. He's cute. He's funny. He's charming. I loved at the end the payoff of like when I thought the Supergirl intro was
But it worked.
Yeah,
quite
thought it
effective.
worked.
It's like just a couple minutes, not too much.
Gives you
We
a
get the
I
like,
feel like she's really good casting.
Millie's gonna be great. We're gonna go get hammered on a
Mhm.
planet with a red sun, like setting up. But then like when Krypto goes over and just like they're wrestling on the ground, it's like, oh right. Bad parenting, like behavioral issues. We see where this comes from. I thought that was very satisfying. But on the Superman front, I loved the like, well, it's more of a foster situation, and you're doing this all for a dog, and it's like, he's not even like a very good one.
Right.
But he's like alone and he's scared. It's just,
yeah.
It's an instant tugging on the heartstrings, and I'm sorry,
That's
it
great,
worked.
guys. I'm happy for you guys.
Superman cares about dogs. This is what you're, see, I see what you're doing.
You crinkled you furrowed your brow at me when I started to say, what's in here? What's in here ticking away? And now look at you.
I got something for you.
Is it going to be a picture of Bozeman?
Yeah, I got something for I got something.
I love dogs.
I want to see.
I don't need a dog to be the engine of my superhero movie.
Sean, look at that.
It's adorable.
I mean, it's just wonderful.
I'll salute it 7 days a week. I got no beef with dogs whatsoever.
Oh my God.
Are we gonna do any Mr. Terrific?
Yeah, let's talk about Mr. Terrific right now. Fantastic.
Okay, so the whole Justice Gang was pretty cool. They were the thing that had me the most skeptical of the movie.
Yeah, I think out of the trailers, we were like, oh, this feels like a lot of character introduction for this movie. And then it is not actually pretty well executed and lean.
I thought Mr. Terrific was fantastic.
But Mr. Terrific is the third lead of this movie.
He's in a lot of the movie.
He's in more of the movie than Lex.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice.
Right. And they were able to take a character that not a lot of people have a lot of familiarity with, unless you're, I mean, if you watch the cartoons, he pops up there. But if you're a comic book fan, but Arrow, he's in Arrow. So it's not like people don't know Mr. Terrific. But I'm saying he was cool.
I thought he was amazing. Yeah.
He was cool in the movie. His fight scene was really cool in the movie.
Awesome.
And rather than tell us, oh, Mr. Terrific is the third smartest man in DC Universe.
You see it.
You see it. He walks in there and they go, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a smart one. And then you realize how fucking dangerous the smart one can be. I really enjoyed the portrayal of the character. I thought it was great.
Think the performance is really good.
Yeah,
the character is cool. I don't know this character. Like, I'm just not up on the lore of this character, so I didn't know what to expect from it. I did feel a little bit like, let's see if we can put Drax and Rocket together in one character.
And that's Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, where it's like he writes to these like archetypal molds, and they all represent like different energies of teams, and he's really good at writing for teams.
Right.
And so he wanted somebody who is like super smart and super strong to be driving the action of a lot of this movie. I think he's the challenge of that part is not Eddie Kathiki's part. Problem. It's just that he's the only vessel for exposition in the movie. So he does spend a lot of time having to just explain to Lois what's going on. Right. Which then helps us better understand what's going on. But it's comic book movie exposition. Yeah.
You know? But he's also actionable in that role.
He is.
Like, he does stuff.
He leads.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's stuff in the movie that you go, okay, how would this have happened if Mr. Terrific wouldn't have been there? Right? Comic book nerd shit.
Yeah.
Gonna be very difficult to put nanotech into Superman's blood. How you gonna get in his bloodstream?
But like that was but
you know
that
what I
was
mean? Like,
great
is he gonna?
because, like,
did you put it in his food? Did he eat it? Because to
a lot
get
of nanotech in this movie, actually. Yeah.
a lot of nanotech.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the engineer.
Because to get into Superman's bloodstream, Superman is impervious and invulnerable. It's gonna be pretty hard to do that. But I guess he's third smartest man in DC. He figured out a way.
Was any of that like COVID shot stuff in there?
Oh, what? Okay.
Didn't occur to me, honestly.
He's pulling from so much stuff in the
InfoWars?
last 7 years of our life that I probably not. But like the nanotech thing is like, that's one of the theories, right? Of the COVID shot.
Sure,
is that they put something in the shot and then they track you, Like,
I never even thought of that.
Didn't occur to me. Maybe.
I'm just riffing here. I'm not saying that's what happened. It's just three of us here talking. I'm not saying don't take the shot.
Man.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah. You guys have your breakout for social. I thought that like that moment where he's like, yeah, I do that to like all my friends. And then we cut to Hawkgirl and she's like, what the fuck? Was like great. It tells you a lot about their dynamic. Obviously, we have with the Justice Gang all this stuff about, is this our name? Is it permanent? Who gets to vote? So you get a little bit of a sense of just what their dynamic is together. Are we going to let Metamorpho in or not? I thought, by the way, of all the things that we could have gotten at the end, just like the fact that looks exactly, the hammer, it like just looks like Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Like very purposeful, certainly.
You know what Mr. Terrific kind of was in this movie to me, though? He kind of was the Batman of the movie.
He
a
is.
little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like using resources and invention and the mind. And of course,
even
that's
the way
also like
his sense of humor, his no nonsense
tone of his
bullshit. And that's kind of how he is.
Yeah, and like the idea that because Lex is very much positioning the battle with Superman as like brains versus brawn, and then you have Mr. Terrific where it's like all there. Everything's present. He can solve everything with his mind, but then also, as we already talked about, like the best fight scene in the movie is his. I thought that the like line deliveries and the nature of interaction with the other characters was really great too. Like the moment with Lois where we go to she's like, you have a flying saucer, but like you can't figure out how to make your garage door open quicker. He's like, I haven't gotten around to that yet. It was great. So we had a sense of like not only what each of these characters like is interested in and how they behave out in the field, but just like how long or not long they've been doing this together. I thought that was like very succinctly established as well. Nice mural in the Hall of Justice with like, you got Batman, you get your like little Easter eggs and glimpses. We get our Jitters coffee mentioned elsewhere. So that was nice too. I thought Mr. Terrific was great. I can't wait for more. Again, I thought Fillion as Guy Gardner was great.
It's a very comic aspect of the movie, the way that Fillion's doing it. He's always,
how many women was it about the haircut?
348.
348.
Disagree. Like that was incredible.
This is not a quibble, and I know we're getting a Lanterns TV show.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's kind of a sin that there's never been a cool Hal Jordan movie. It to me,
I hope the Lantern show is good. I
Green
feel like
Lantern,
it will be.
It's kind of a hard character to do right, but it's a really cool character. Obviously, all the Lantern Corps stuff is generally kind of interesting, but for like the most successful representation of Green Lantern to be like Guy Gardner's stupid haircut, it's not exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And I hope that show is cool.
I think
I'll be honest with you, what I've heard about the show does not make it sound cool to me. The idea that it's like way more of like a
procedural,
boots on the ground procedural rather than this like intergalactic, story about a pilot. I don't. So I'm just kind of spinning my wheels here.
On
but
the
you know
flip
what I'm
side,
saying.
we're getting Aaron Pierre and Kyle Chandler in a
and
Lantern
they're
show
great,
together.
and they're both
That's
extremely well cast for those two
incredible.
characters.
Ridiculously well cast. So these were my thoughts about Green Lantern. I thought about the choice to use Guy Gardner there instead of Hal Jordan. And I considered it, number one, it's a comic lover's thing to do.
Yeah.
Because like everybody knows Hal Jordan.
This is the nerdy Green Lantern.
It's a nerdy Green Lantern. If you want to go, let's go to a Green Lantern that you got to kind of be a little deep into the lore to get. Put him in there. And he makes for cool, surly, angry, whatever. Then I thought, well, is that a decision to save Hal Jordan for a way to roll Hal Jordan out in a way that is a little bit deeper, that you don't want to put baby in the corner if you're doing that, right?
Yeah.
Because if they're going to do a gritty procedural for the Lanterns movie, it doesn't really seem to work with the version of Superman, the tone that we just got. So I was very interested. Which
is weird to me because I'm like, Hal Jordan Lantern done right is Han Solo.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that, and this movie could support a Han Solo. This Superman world that he made.
Certainly. So I think we'll get it eventually, but I'm interested to see. This movie was supposed to make you more interested in the world, and it did. It made me more interested in Mr. Terrific. It made me more interested in Supergirl.
For sure.
She came in there. It made me more interested in what they're going to do with the Lanterns, because it seems to me like Guy Gardner is such a misanthrope that it makes me think about what the Lantern Corps really is and like what the whole universe is going to look like.
The conversation about his vows, right? It was like,
it's an implied vow.
It's an implied vow. Like a nice way to kind of hint at like, well, we're going to explore what all of this looks like. Really, my guess, based on absolutely nothing other than tone, is that Guy Gardner, who is confirmed to be in the show, will be like very rarely in it.
Yeah.
Like, Guy Gardner is in the Lantern.
It is the same universe. Yeah. It's all.
Oh no, I didn't know. Okay,
he's going to be in it.
It feels like a tonal clash.
It feels like a tonal clash. Yeah. Even some of the shots that I've seen of them.
I think they've just shown one production still.
Well, it's just, but
it's just them walking on a road in plain clothes.
They look great,
and it looks like some Penguin type shit.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's going to be the balancing and mixing and melding of tones across the universe is going to be one of the interesting things. But like, I think we would all agree, kind of at the most basic level, like on the one hand, we always wonder and worry, okay, will these tones mesh? But we don't want every show or movie to feel the same either.
Right.
That variance is so crucial. So I think like we'll have to see in real time how that stuff works. Like it was interesting. Obviously, Peacemaker is being basically like canonized to fit now. Like some of they're just changing between seasons. Gunn has talked about this. Some of the stuff that basically like now won't work as canon from the first season to make it work as canon moving forward. That was one of the biggest cheers in the theater when Peacemaker showed up. No Eagly. Sad for us.
No Eagly. But Peacemaker's in the movie. have I underestimated
People went
how
nuts.
popular Peacemaker is?
Do you think that was because people are like, I love Peacemaker, or because John Cena is incredibly famous?
I think it's one of the only callback to a character we know.
Right.
So that's a common experience we've had as comic book moviegoers for the last 15 years of the like, oh shit moment.
Right.
So you get one of those. It's a very funny moment, right? Cena obviously is great as that character. It did have me kind of like, I got confused for a second because I was like, wait a minute. So Grillo's playing Rick Flag, but I forgot it was Rick Flag Sr.
This is dad.
So,
and that's part of
is Rick
Peacemaker.
Flag Jr. canonically dead because of the Suicide Squad movie?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe not though.
I think that's part of the premise of Peacemaker season 2 is that he's
Rick
like,
Flag
I need my revenge.
Oh, well, that's muddled because that stuff was
Grillo still got it.
That stuff was
so
DCEU.
weird though that he's basically playing like the same character in two different comic book universes.
Yeah. Well, the Justice League shows up at the end of Peacemaker season 1.
Yeah.
They don't show them, but it's very clearly Cavill's Superman. It's very clearly Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
They pop in there, so I thought they were leaving, and then Rick Flag Jr. dies in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a little
he can
confusing.
do whatever he wants.
It's a little confusing.
Well, it's a lot confusing.
Yeah.
It's like it's a completely different universe.
Yeah.
Like, so
what's more or less confusing, that or how Superman got the nanotech to come out of his lungs? I guess it's because the engineer is knocked out.
It wouldn't affect him.
So yeah, my read on this:
the Cleveland Guardians baseball stadium. That would not be where I wanted to die.
But here
as an Oriole fan, I've seen Jose Ramirez hit too many home runs against my team. There, it's not where I want.
I don't think this is what Gunn is doing, but this is what I thought of while watching that whole sequence. That this was the sabermetrics versus do you know ball debate.
Do you just have the natural feel for the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you a scout who sits on the
do it all
hard
on
bench
B-Ref.
and watches a guy's energy on the mound? Or are you crunching the numbers? Lex is crunching the numbers.
Yeah.
He's the sabermetrician.
He's big on exit velo and spin rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he believes that after putting all this data together and churning it into his machine and pressing A1 100 times, he will be able to defeat Superman with the engineer's help.
Right.
And Superman is a ball knower.
That's right.
Superman he doesn't just watch the tape, he is the tape.
Right.
And he knows.
Fly up, smash down,
Yeah.
pull the nanotech out of my goddamn nose and mouth.
Engineer has nothing on Superman.
Nothing.
And Superman's ability to score from the mid-range.
That's right.
You know, his
Lost
ability
art.
to hit the curveball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His ability to run out of the
player.
power I formation.
Yeah.
You know, like all of the things that we think are the old way of the game.
You know who else turned
The
out
new
to
way.
be a 5-tool player? 80 grade power. We didn't see it coming. Stickman Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen.
We got to talk about it for a minute here.
Yeah.
Of all the Lex blind spots,
I feel like
Eve, the Eve selfies, having everything behind her, and then Jimmy just scrolling through his phone and being like, this is just like a bunch of tits, but it's all of the key information. Great stuff.
By the way, I did not know this actress. I looked her up. Former Victoria's Secret angel that has moved over into acting.
Yeah.
What a performance.
she's very funny.
She's very funny.
Tessmacher, a classic.
Yeah, like what a
I
performance.
neglected to call that out in the big picture.
Yeah.
But I love that
Oh
it
my
was just
God.
the Valerie Perrine character from the
Yeah.
first film.
Like
Great
what,
stuff.
Like what a performance. Like she
was very
I'm not
amusing.
acting like she up for 5 Oscars, but normally like people cannot be that funny. She has to be consistently funny.
She got a lot of laughs.
in every scene that she's in. And normally when you see the change to model to actress, it's worked sometimes, but she's actually really, really good.
Renee Russo, it worked.
Yeah.
Oh, Renee Russo.
Incredible that Jimmy, Lois says, like, how do you do it? But also just he doesn't understand, like, he's like, hot? Doesn't even understand what's happening. The women in the Daily Planet office who are, like, watching him from across and, like, oh, my God, Jimmy, he's, like, really got it. And he has no idea what's going on. Just all absolutely wonderful.
The second biggest zag besides Jor-El's parents was making Jimmy Olsen this babe magnet.
Sex god.
Yeah, like
incredible
that
stuff.
Like it just that's the kind of thing that went, oh, okay, this is Superman, but also there's some new things here. I thought if you can make that character work, who is just the pal of Superman, if you can make that character work, yeah.
I'd like to commend James Gunn on showing more restraint here with the mutant toes bit than he did with Taserface in Guardians 2, which was a joke that recurred about 97 times in that film. We got to see mutant toes in Jimmy's phone here, And then we have the conversation later in the alley about how he said that her toes looked like shrimp cocktail spilled all over the floor. And that's it. So that felt like progress to me.
Was the character at all unwoke in terms of ladiness? Was Jimmy Olsen being a stick man and kind of, he was kind of on his bitches ain't shit. So was that at all? Did that rub you the wrong way as a lady?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
It rubbed her the right way.
Exactly. I mean, Jimmy Olsen knows how to rub the right way. I think that was clear. I think that was clear.
Nice contrast to Guy Gardner's 348 number. It's like that actually was Jimmy's number. He actually put up that score.
Maxwell Lord. We got a quick Maxwell Lord.
Real quick. Sean Gunn. He knows how to cast his brother.
He's going to be in Peacemaker as well. We got some other some Gunn faves, Palm, Jen Holland, Rooker there, along with Alan Tudyk, of course. The Fortress of Solitude. They're the Fortress of Solitude Robo voice crew.
Okay.
Right? So that's kind of fun.
There was one other notable one too. You said Palm, Alan Tudyk.
Jennifer Holland.
That's his partner.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the
Rooker.
Rooker. That was what I was thinking.
Oh, which
Michael
one was
Rooker.
he?
Yeah.
Well, Tudyk was 4/Gary. Who would Rooker have been? Let's find out right now.
What do you guys think about? I always feel like directors, when a director works with the same amount of people, with the same people over and over again, those people actually aren't.
One?
Those directors have emotional support actors. Like, I think they have people who...
Yeah, they're troupe.
They're troupe, but also people that make them feel super comfortable, particularly when they're doing a movie that is a big swing or very ambitious. You don't want to work with new people because these people you're comfortable with, and there's an energetic thing.
That's definitely a factor. This is one of my favorite things that directors do. Preston Sturges did this. Robert Altman did this. Quentin Tarantino does this. The figures who recur, all my favorite directors. Nolan does this.
Michael Caine has been in 8 of his movies.
If you can get in one Nolan movie, you about to eat for 5 to 10 years.
And some of it is that
at least
characters bring gravitas or recognizability. But I think more than anything, I mean, I know this for a fact. Quentin just likes how Sam Jackson says his words. Sometimes it's that simple, obviously James Gunn likes how Michael Rooker says his words. He just wants him doing his dialogue, and that's a huge part of the idea of getting a movie across. You want people who you feel like know how to sell your shit.
Like, you hear the voice when you're writing the dialogue.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I loved it.
These are pretty modest relative to his history with these actors.
Sprinkled.
Though.
Yeah. They're there.
He didn't give any of them a big. Except Nathan Fillion.
Fillion was very present
part
in
of
the
the
movie. And Maxwell Lord, as we understand it, is in Peacemaker season 2, right? So the stingers. We get the cute little Krypto Soups moment on the moon as the mid-credits. And then the end credits is this moment with Superman and Mr. Terrific looking at the misalignment of the resealed rift. Is this you sat around and it's a vibes? I'm sorry, I'm such a jerk. I didn't think how this would make you feel, stinger. Or is that setting up some future story where the misalignment of Metropolis will prove crucial?
I don't know. But as you know, I don't like meaningless post-credit scenes. Hate it. It's not the post-credit scenes that I grew up on. You know what the first post-credit scene I ever saw was? Masters of the Universe. Frank Langella as goddamn Skeletor pops up. He-Man did not kill me. I was like, oh my God, there's more. And I started watching to the end of all the movies, and the movies just goddamn went off. But
can I interrupt you and make one request?
Sure.
When you guys are doing Masters of the Universe next year, can you just make me a part of the Ringerverse coverage in some way?
You're looking forward to it.
Because He-Man was my first thing.
You're always a part of the Ringerverse, man.
Well, that's nice of you to say, but I don't think Amanda will ever let me talk about He-Man on the pod.
You're correct.
So just keep me in
true.
mind. Just keep me in. That's all I'm going to say. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, but I thought the mid-credit scenes now are almost always nothing. Yeah. But the post-credit scene, to me, said more about the character of Mr. Terrific, that he put him in that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That he's thinking about more for him.
Yeah. Good call.
He's thinking about more for him. Because I
hope so. He was great.
I kind of don't know what it meant and don't think that it meant anything. And it was if I got to watch 5 minutes of credit fucking special effects people. Give me something.
I mean, metaphorically, it was nothing's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the takeaway, right? In a movie where we're constantly talking about how to heal and how to fix things, nothing is totally fixed. And that made sense story-wise. I really, truly, truly thought he wasn't going to do one. And I sat there thinking that this would be like a rejection of the MCU.
So
it would be like
Guy Gardner hurls all of his middle fingers throughout the movie, and that's Gunn's middle finger at the end is no stinger.
That's what I thought. In the same way that I read some of the undermining Superman's public reputation storytelling as a direct James Gunn reaction to what happened to him in 2018, where I saw that as a very distinct, and there are other factors involved too, the way that governments have bots that undermine the public trust in the world. But that felt very much like, as I said on the other pod, like revenge porn against Disney. And I thought that would have been a really funny thing to do, to say like, stingers are for losers. That's the old times. We're in the new times. But he didn't do that.
At the end of the day, stinger or no stinger, the revenge against Disney is the movie succeeding.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
I mean.
Do you guys feel like there's any heat off Fantastic Four? Like, it's like, because this movie's clearly going to be super well received.
Good question.
Heat off?
Not that
the heat has never been more on.
But that's pressure. But how about like interest and intensity? Like, is there like a turning of the boat here?
When you say heat off, you mean have the stolen thunder?
Yes, exactly. That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah,
yes. Two things. I'm gonna say one thing. I wonder if you guys have ever heard this from people that work on movies. People that work on movies, particularly these superhero movies with all of these credits, they like these stingers.
Of course, yeah.
Because
forces you to sit in the seat.
They want you to see.
Which you should do.
You've heard that?
Yeah,
I heard like I was at a screening one
yeah.
time when I was somebody was like, stay. There's something at the end of the movie. I was like, oh wow, okay. And they were like, yeah, by the way, I worked on this movie, so you can see. So that
but I want to start getting them for like Sundance indie dramas about like guys who are tortured in prison. You know what I mean? Like I want there to be like a nice little stinger at the end of my Oscar movie.
This was a movie about people being tortured in prison.
It's a very good point. It's not a Sundance indie though.
At the end of like Honora, I would have loved to see a post-credit scene.
Just one last dance.
No, with this her and what's his face? What's the guy? The Igor.
Yura Borisov.
I just want to see like, them holding hands. Just a quick shot.
Well, I think that would disrupt the ending of the movie. No.
So what?
Okay. Did you like Honora?
Didn't like. Loved.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Did you like it?
I thought it was fantastic.
Okay. Didn't like. Loved. The type of movie that makes you just want to like literally go somewhere, pound out a screenplay, and tell some weird 2 days in somebody's life. I love movies.
I legitimately thought you were going to say it would make you want to go to the strip club.
Well, that too.
Okay.
But no, the Fantastic Four, they gotta bring it on.
Yeah.
They gotta come with it now.
It's tough now.
These movies aren't dissimilar in terms of what they have to do by making these characters contemporary. So
there was more, I think, on Superman was carrying more on his shoulders.
I agree.
I think, but
pretty much did it.
Yes.
Oh,
no question.
After the numbers come out, James Gunn and them, like, man, Warner Brothers is coming for that number one spot. so yeah,
crazy year.
It's a big deal, but
if they're both good,
I mean,
you guys are back. Marina versus back.
Yeah, we're definitely back. I have been. The question that you asked when you said the heat is off Fantastic Four, I've looked at this in a couple of different ways. Is this going to make audiences more eager to see the Fantastic Four? Because what I do feel like is disappointment after disappointment at the movie theater for these superhero movies kind of puts people in a wait and see mode. And when us diehards go to the first week, and then those big fall offs the second week are coming from people that are saying this movie sucked. Right. And they were like, I don't want to run out right there in the first week and see it, whatever. But just the overall energy of Superman being so good might make people go, I don't want to miss the first week sensation of the Fantastic Four. Let me run out there and see if they have it again. Yeah.
And even just more broadly, like F1 has nothing to do with nerd culture, but it's just like it's a summer blockbuster run here. Like people are back in the movies. What a time to be you. You must be thrilled.
We did it.
Even a movie you didn't like that I really did like.
Oh my God.
I really liked it.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm
so
excited
bad.
to.
It's so bad.
Don't listen. It's good. Don't
Two
listen.
of the most
eternal
important
debate.
people in my life.
Don't listen. It's good. We had a blast.
Real
The Midnight
Angel
Boys were
Devil
going
stuff here.
Charles
crazy.
came into the studio and was like, Jurassic rocked. I was like, what is happening?
But it made a shit ton of money.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
So
It did.
like people's interest is back.
Yeah.
The movies are somewhat delivering. So we'll see.
I mean, what a time to be us, guys. You think the Mets are going to win the World Series?
No,
wow.
I do not.
Okay.
I think they are a bit short in pitching right now, as you witnessed this week, taking 2 of 3 from my favorite team.
Orioles are 8 under 500. Is it too late?
No, you're selling at the deadline.
Already traded Brian Baker.
I saw that after he got absolutely smoked by the Mets in a thrilling comeback victory on Tuesday.
How did they get to this point of blowing it up so soon?
Mm,
They were just like a 100-win team.
yes, they
yeah.
very, very famously had one of maybe the best turnaround in the history of the sport, made the playoffs twice in a row. As you guys might know, did not win a game in the playoffs either year. It's not over. They're going to be back next year. Everyone on the team got hurt. You can't withstand that many injuries, especially to the young lineup. Like Jordan Westberg is back and healthy now, and he can't stop hitting home runs.
You like that?
Happy for you.
Thanks.
You must be feeling happy that Anthony Santander has also fallen off a cliff since going to Toronto.
I don't root for. I don't root against. Like when I watch Manny Machado. Now, granted, he didn't choose to sign with another team. He was traded in a core betrayal of the sanctity of fandom. But when I watch Manny, I root for him. You know, so I'm not. I'll always root for Tony Taters.
I'm not that
he was
guy.
a great
I agree.
Oriole.
Fuck them.
Fuck you.
You left.
Fuck you.
Well,
Get
like when
outta here.
Messina signed with the Yankees, I was like, "You're dead to me."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like the Orioles didn't want to resign.
Fucking
Santander,
Eli
so,
Ricks, leave
you know.
LSU.
What about when Van signs with Ben Shapiro's podcast network to host the fandom show? Will you still cheer for Van?
That I would listen. I'll always cheer for Van.
Daily Wire, Black Fan, like the Black Fan show. Hey, I'm the last of the Vanguard here at the Daily Wire. Check me out.
Vanguard.
Vanguard.
That would be a good name
That's your
for your
superhero.
pod.
Yeah.
Vanguard.
Vanguard over on the Daily Wire, the one liberal that they got, damn near socialist. This movie was delightful.
It's great. And it was such a blast to talk about it with you guys.
Thank you for having me
Guys,
here.
thanks for joining me
Love
for
you,
the
Joe.
pod. We love you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to also, you guys weren't the only ones joining us today. Eduardo Ocampo came in and pinch hit for the pod. He's not in the room with us. He's on Zoom.
Oh, he's on Zoom.
But a huge thank you to Eduardo for picking up this pod. And thank you, as always, of course, to John Richter, Arjuna Ramgopal, and Jomia Denaran. We will see you when we see you. Krypto, take us home!